broke out yesterday inside the refrigeration compressor room at the Fox Valley Ice Arena. Building sprinkler system activated, and the fire was brought under control in less than 1 hour. Here in Chicago yesterday, Steelers coach Mike Tomlin said his team was not going to play politics, but they did in a way, as Tomlin kept the players in the locker room during the national anthem yesterday before the start of their game at Soldier Field. Tomlin said after the game, his players decided not to come out for the national anthem, all except one.
No, it wasn't my decision. Like most teams in the National Football League, we didn't ask for this. This was placed upon us by circumstance. I heard rumblings of guys talking during the course of the day yesterday. My contention was that we will not allow politics to divide us with football players, with football team.
The move in response to President Trump's criticism of some NFL players who chose to kneel during the anthem. Barbara Blaine, the founder and former president of the Survivors Network of those abused by priests, has died. Snap announced that Blaine died Sunday following a recent cardiac event. She was 61. Blaine founded Snap in 1988, years after she says she was abused as an eighth grader by a Toledo, Ohio priest. She resigned in February, did not give a reason. Other Snap officials were sued in January by a former employee. Illinois school kids will be spared lessons on cursive. Governor Rauner Friday vetoing a proposed state law that would require students to learn the formal handwriting skill. Jordan Howard ran for a game-winning 19-yard touchdown early in overtime. Bears beat the Steelers 23-17 at Soldier Field.
Yeah, they were definitely worn down, especially out there. Tariq run. I felt like he stayed in, but after that, we saw they were pretty gassed, and the O-line, they were moving them off the ball pretty easily.
Howard had 23 carries for 138 yards and 2 scores. Tariq Cohen added 78 yards on the ground. Very short turnaround for the Bears, who visit the Packers on Thursday. Jose Quintana was sharp, a complete game shutout. Cubs blanked the Brewers 5-0 at Miller Park. Avisail Garcia, a 2-run home run in the first. Sox never looked back with an 8-1 win over the Royals. Dwayne Wade's time with the Bulls is over. Tribune reporting Wade and the organization have agreed to a buyout, the final season of his 2-year deal. Blackhawks battle the Bruins in a preseason affair later tonight. The news, a service of Indeed.com. Are you hiring? Join the over 3 million businesses that use Indeed.com for hiring. Post a job in minutes. Manage your candidates from an easy-to-use dashboard. Post your next job on the world's #1 job site, Indeed.com. 5:06 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
On AM 560, The Answer. Your opinion counts. And we want to know how you feel about the news stories we're talking about each and every day. Make sure to vote in the M13 Graphics Opinion Express poll at 560theanswer.com. Listen for today's poll question at 10:30 a.m., 12:30 p.m., and 3:30 p.m. And hear the results each evening at 5:30. It's the M13 Graphics Opinion Express poll on 560theanswer.com.
Most of us like to be out in the sun. That's why sunscreen and other safety measures are key to protecting your skin from aging and cancer. The FDA recommends using a sunscreen with an SPF of 15 or higher. Also, look for broad spectrum on the label. That means both harmful ultraviolet A and B rays are blocked. Remember, SPF plus broad spectrum equal healthy fun in the sun. Visit www.fda.gov/sunscreen for more information. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
My name is David Hochberg, Vice President Lending at Pearl Mortgage. If you're purchasing a home, give me a call. A borrower called me after contacting the lender, who boasts about having the lowest rates and closing costs because he thought my competitors' closing costs were excessively high. I compared loan estimates and the interest rates were identical, but our definitions of low closing costs were a lot different. Fact is, my closing costs were over $1,000 less than the lender claiming to have the lowest closing costs. When purchasing a home, you can either work with the lender, who talks and talks and talks and talks about low closing costs, or you can work with me, a lender who actually has low closing costs. Then think of all the things you could do with an extra $1,000 when we originate your loan, like pay for the movers, buy a new computer, new TV, maybe new carpet for your new house.
I've helped thousands of AM 560 listeners, but I can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage, an equal housing lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage License T 4358, and MLS 19186.
Illinois deserves an honest analysis of the problems facing our state. Avoid the spin from the mainstream media and Springfield insiders by tuning in to Illinois Rising every Sunday at 3 p.m. AM 560's Dan Proft and the Illinois Policy Institute tackle the policy and political issues that matter most and discuss possible solutions. So if you're sick of the status quo, then be sure to listen to Illinois Rising this Sunday at 3 p.m. on AM 560. The Answer.
5:08. Let's get an update on the roads this morning in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Good morning, Mike. On the Indiana Toll Road westbound, there's a closure of the right lane between State Road 49 and the Portage Interchange after a major overnight crash involving 3 trucks and a car. The left lane has reopened there. The eastbound side is just fine. All clear on the Edens at this hour. The Kennedy looks good. Reversibles are open inbound. No delays to report on the Eisenhower, the Stevenson, of the Rhine. I-57, Bishop Fort still okay, though it's starting to get a little bit heavy approaching the merge. Illinois tollways are just fine. Same goes for 8094, I-65. Traffic. Service of the Brave on NBC. America's favorite singing competition. Emmy winner The Voice is back with superstar coaches Adam Levine, Blake Shelton, and Miley Cyrus. Plus new coach, Grammy and Academy Award winner Jennifer Hudson. The Voice. Blind auditions start tonight, followed by the premiere of The Brave on NBC. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast with our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
A mostly sunny day today with a high 90, then a partly cloudy night with a low 68. Tomorrow, partial sunshine, high 90, then becoming mostly cloudy. Tomorrow night with a late night shower in spots, low 61. Sun and patchy clouds Wednesday, high 73. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently 73. Next news coming up at 5:30. Continuous news coverage at 560theanswer.com. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
Build business with Chamber 630, one of the largest business organizations in DuPage County. Marketing your business and connecting clients is their priority. Visit chamber630.com or call 630-968-4050 to join today.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So did you watch the Bears-Steelers game? How about them Bears?
It was the Super Bowl. I went to the game. I lost my voice. We won not once but twice. It was a terrific game.
Yeah.
So much fun. So much drama. So many people passed out because they ran out of water in the first quarter. It was only 110 degrees. All right.
It'll forever be known as Francis Scott Key's Revenge, that game. Because, of course, what precipitated all the games on Sunday, well, even Saturday, the president's comments at a rally in Huntsville, Alabama for Luther Strange, one of the Republican candidates for U.S. Senate to replace Jeff Sessions, who's in trouble. Oh, by the way, all the leading lights of conservatism in the country have endorsed a Judge Roy Moore. And the election, by the way, tomorrow. So that'll be a test of the president's political capital, too, that he went in for essentially the establishment candidate in Strange. But at that rally, as he's riffing, the president, as he's wont to do, on topics that are current, like, say, the national anthem controversy in the NFL, not just Colin Kaepernick anymore.
Oh, no. 200 took a knee yesterday.
But in advance of yesterday, President Trump had to say this.
Wouldn't you love to see one of these NFL owners, when somebody disrespects our flag, to say, get that son of a bitch off the field right now, out, he's fired. He's fired!
The crowd seemed to like this, but a lot of players and commentators and NFL owners didn't. The president went on to say at that same rally, maybe you should just boycott the NFL effectively.
When people like yourselves turn on television and you see those people taking the knee when they're playing our great national anthem, The only thing you could do better is if you see it, even if it's one player, leave the stadium. I guarantee things will stop. Things will stop. Just pick up and leave. Pick up and leave.
312.
Not the same game anymore, anyway.
He's not done yet.
Yeah, he's not saying. Well, he went on this weird tangent about the nature of the game and penalties that are called for illegal hits that
Right, I know.
changed the game. That was weird. But
That was weird because he wouldn't last 5 seconds on a football field with an NFL player.
yeah, most 70-year-olds wouldn't.
Yeah, they wouldn't.
So 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636-DA, turnkey.pro text line. You going to boycott the NFL? You think the president's advice and counsel is worth taking?
Well, I was at the game yesterday, and I was with a bunch of Steelers fans, people who came in from Pittsburgh, and they were shocked. I mean, everybody, because we had heard rumblings that, they're going to stay in the locker room. And everyone thought, they're not going to do that. It's the Steelers, it's the heartland of this country. It's where steel's made. And sure enough, everybody stayed in except for Alejandro Villanueva, who's an Army Ranger. He stayed by the tunnel, but not everybody saw him. It was thanks to the Jumbotron that people saw him on the big screen. But I really need to remind people that it is a league rule for both teams to be on the field during the playing of the national anthem. And here's the coach from Pittsburgh, Mr. Tomlin. Where is he here? Mike Tomlin, explaining why they decided to stay inside during the singing of the national anthem.
We didn't ask for this. This was placed upon us by circumstance. I heard rumblings of guys talking during the course of the day yesterday. My contention was that we will not allow politics to divide us with football players, with football team. If many of them felt like something needed to be done, I asked those guys to discuss it. And whatever they discussed, that, we have 100% participation or we do nothing.
Alejandro Villanueva's jersey skyrocketed to the third highest seller in the league.
Awesome.
Nobody except Steeler fans knew who he was prior to Sunday at noon, and now third highest jersey.
It's got the chills.
Third highest seller in the league. His jersey trail only Marshawn Lynch, Derek Carr, Carson Wentz, Antonio Brown, and Aaron Rodgers. Third highest third highest selling Pittsburgh Steelers jersey in the league, but one of the top sellers around the league. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th overall. Pretty good for somebody that he's an offensive tackle. Nobody pays attention to him, even though he's 6'9" and like 330.
But NFL players and the owners don't feel like there was President Trump's spot to say something, that this is our business, this is our deal. We don't need you to insert yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Mike McCaskey called a team meeting before the game. I found out from my friend who works for the Bears, and said, you are all standing during the national anthem.
Yeah, there was differing reports about George McCaskey and what he demanded, whether it was to stand and honor the national anthem. And then there was another tweet from, I think, David Haas suggesting that he told the players he's comfortable with whatever they want to do. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure where George McCaskey was, but what you saw on the sidelines for the Bears was some people locked in arms, but not everybody hand over their heart.
Right.
I'm
fine. Just stand up, because you know what? If you don't stand up, there's a great European football league that you could go to. And I actually think Colin Kaepernick should go to Europe and play for one of those teams. If he's so disgusted with America, if he hates it so much, go over there. And everybody turns this into a racial issue. I honestly think if Colin Kaepernick was white, Dan, President Trump still would have made that comment.
Colin Kaepernick can play for the Berlin Merkles. Kurt in Brookfield, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning. I've got 33 years of military and law enforcement, and I turned on the game and I saw that, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to go watch World War II reenactment out of Rockford, Illinois, to support real heroes out there. These football players get paid so much money. If they want to stand and hold arms, that's great. But not to even show up on the field. The only hero out there is Alejandro from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Otherwise, I'm done with the NFL. They make a ton of money off. Sure, they've got the right to protest, but just don't do it during the national anthem. Stand, hold arms, and talk to the media afterwards about it.
Thanks for the call, Kurt. Roger Goodell responded on Saturday morning to what Trump had to say on Friday, saying, divisive comments like these demonstrate an unfortunate lack of respect for our great game and all of our players. and a failure to understand the overwhelming force for good our clubs and players represent in our communities. To which Trump, of course, responded. Roger Goodell of NFL just put out a statement trying to justify the total disrespect certain players showed our country. Tell them to stand, ! So war of words between Goodell and Trump as well. Now, there are people that weighed in that were Trump supporters who also found what Trump had to say problematic, including Rex Ryan.
Oh.
Former Eagles coach Rex Ryan, Trump supporter.
How's his lap band surgery going?
He's got that foot fetish he's still trying to cope with. He had this to say.
We all grew up in an NFL locker room. We don't have those issues. You know what I mean? Everybody's always been united, in things. The views are different in things. But let me tell you, like I'm pissed off. I'll be honest with you, because I supported Donald Trump. I sat back and when he asked me to introduce him at a rally, in Buffalo, I did that. But I'm reading these comments, and it's appalling to me. And I'm sure it's appalling to almost any citizen in our country. It should be. I mean, calling our players, SOBs and all that kind of stuff, that's not the men that I know. The men that I know in the locker room, I'm proud of. I'm proud to be associated with those people. And it's just so, I apologize for being pissed off, but guess what? That's it. Because right away, I'm associated with what Donald Trump stands for and all that because, I introduced him. I never signed up for that. I never wanted that. That doesn't mean I support 100% of the things that he says. And clearly, this is a case.
This is such a personal attack on the NFL. That's how they're processing this. It's so strange because the players, here's a montage. You have got to listen to this because Michael Thomas from the Miami Dolphins breaks down and cries when asked about this issue by a reporter.
You mess with one, you mess with us all. Nobody is divided in this. We was in unity. We wanted to stand for something. I'm just telling you right now, this man's not welcome here.
As a man, as a father, as an African-American man, as somebody in the NFL, as one of those sons of yeah, I took it personally. I got a daughter. She gonna have to live in this world. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna do whatever I gotta do to make sure, she can look at her dad and be like, hey, you did something, you tried to make a change. You feel me?
Yeah. Okay. Boy, all these big, tough football players.
They're getting a little weepy, man.
Real sensitive about some of their colleagues being called SOBs. Because, of course, he was referring to the people that disrespect the anthem. And, oh, by the way, that was going on prior to Trump. So here's the problem that the argument with the argument that this is all about Trump. This precedes Trump. And no, clearly you weren't unified because it was just Colin Kaepernick and a handful of other players that did this previous to Trump and previous to Trump's comments. And now it's all solidarity. Oh, you want to have this fight? You're going to stand in solidarity with the Castro-loving, Che Guevara touting Colin Kaepernick and the left? Go ahead.
He's probably making a job now.
Trump is spoiling for this fight. And the arguments that are being advanced by these very delicately positioned athletes who've never been called an SOB before, and most of them aren't even being called an SOB. They're a handful of people that weren't standing for the anthem prior to Sunday were called SOBs by the president. Boy, the real sensitive all the time. They've never been called a name in their lives.
They need counseling, Dan.
Oh, golly. Well, aren't they sympathetic figures? Oh, gosh, I can understand why you're coming apart at the seams. Go ahead, take that tack, draw that line, and let's hash it out. What Trump has done is a service to bring all of the people out to show, for them to show everybody who they are. And now consumers, football fans, can make a choice.
I couldn't walk out yesterday because they were winning.
Frank in St. Charles, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, good morning. I think the owners are caving into these people. If this started out with a bunch of white players protesting the removal of Civil War statues or something, nobody would be behind them. The owners would put them on the bench or something like that, but it's a whole different story. They got to stand with, the black players and they're just weak. If Mike Ditka was there, he would have taken care of it pronto.
Thanks for the call, Frank. Well, and also, we played this last week. If Franco Harris was asked about this is prior to this weekend's controversy, and Franco Harris, the Steeler great from the greatest Steelers team and the greatest team in NFL history, had this to say.
No, I don't think it would have been Chuck. I think that there would have been two guys on our team. Just like James Harrison takes care of it today.
Right.
He told the guy, hey, blah blah blah. So I'd tell guys we had.
So the players would have taken
two
care
of the. We had two of the meanest guys in football, who I think would have dealt with it that way, and that would have been Joe Green and Jack Lambert.
Yeah, Mean Joe Green and Jack Splat Lambert would have taken care of it. So player leadership as well. And unfortunately, James Harrison, disappointing, didn't provide the leadership Franco Harris suggests he otherwise does for this Steelers team. Tony on the south side.
Hey, good morning, Dan. Good morning, Amy. So here's my comment. I think the NFL doesn't understand their audience. The plurality of NFL fans are hardcore American patriots. And when they start behaving the way they do, disrespecting our flag and our veterans for that matter, I think it's time for people in this country to take a good, hard look at what the NFL is and where it's going, particularly with the CTE issue and the concussions. They're going to water down the game, and people are already kind of like, I don't know if I want to watch this crap. Listen, Tangerine Jesus can say what he wants. And it shouldn't affect you on the field. If they make it about themselves, it's about a bigger picture here. It's about what the fans want. It's never about what the fans want these days. So that's what I have to say. And good luck, NFL. You know what? Every Sunday, I'm going to fly my American flag in respect for our country and our veterans. Thank you, guys. Have a good day.
Thanks, Tony. Mark on the south side.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Prior to 2009, it was optional for the players to come out of the locker room to stand for the national anthem. And under the Obama administration, the Defense Department gave the NFL over $6 million to promote patriotism, support our troops, with the hopes of enhancing recruitment, which made no sense when Obama was cutting back on the military. But the NFL took our taxpayer dollar money to promote patriotism. And after they took the money, it became mandatory that all players and personnel must come out for the national anthem.
Interesting. Thanks for the call, Mark. Did not know that. Ed in Oak Brook.
Yeah, you know what? I'm very disappointed in the commissioner, Roger Goodell. I don't know why they keep that guy around. He should have stopped this when Kaepernick did it the first time. He should have told San Francisco, either get that guy in the locker room during the national anthem or whatever. And now it is mushroomed into this mess that it is right now. I personally am done with the NFL. I will never probably watch a game. I hope I don't, but who knows. But the problem is that, you know what? The flag didn't do anything wrong to anybody. All of these guys that died, from the founding fathers to the guys in Korea and World War II and Afghanistan and blah, 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 they all wore that flag. And now these guys are just pissing all over them. And it's just an embarrassment, and I'm voting with my feet. Have a nice day.
Thanks, Ed. Karen in Orland Hills.
Hey, how you doing today?
Good.
You know, what really, really fries me about this is that Goodell used the word disrespect. He used so okay, it's all right to disrespect the flag, but it's not okay to disrespect football. Oh, we can't do that. And the fact that President Trump was using his freedom of speech it's just so ironic here.
Yes.
Because,
yes.
You know, he's using his freedom of speech to express this, and they can't see their own hypocrisy. That it's as soon as you're offended, that freedom of speech is out the door. And so that's what really just gets me about that.
Thanks for the call, Karen. It's a good point, and you just have to understand how sensitive football players really are. It goes back to Rosie Greer, who used to crochet. They're big guys, but they're very, very sensitive.
Lynn Swan was a ballerina.
That's true. Willie Gault.
Yeah.
They're very, very sensitive, and they can take a hit, but they can't take anyone disagreeing with them without devolving into a puddle of tears.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
The war on depression is over.
You win.
Depression, with all the drugs and side effects, the endless counseling, the frustration with life and relationships.
The war is over. You win.
In a few short weeks, your life will change.
It's TMS therapy.
Over 1 million people have been treated, and the results are nothing short of outstanding. It's FDA cleared. It's covered by most insurance, including Blue Cross Blue Shield and Medicare.
Most drugs and other treatments just mask the depression.
TMS treats the cause, so you can win the war with your depression. Remission or cure.
Depression gone.
Get a free consultation at one of the HPR centers in Chicagoland and Wisconsin. Ask questions.
For you or someone you love, safe, revolutionary, effective treatment for depression.
Let depression recovery begin. HPR centers.
800-604-0208. 800-604-0208.
Go to endmydepression.com.
Hey, there's a party going on over at ChicagoRadioDeals.com. Get off the couch and put on your dancing shoes. Your private dance lessons begin at the Fred Astaire Dance Studio in Burr Ridge. There's a deal that includes 4 private lessons and bonus group classes, $400 value for only $180. Or dip your toe in with a dance package that includes 1 private class, 1 group class, and 1 dance party, only $85. And now that you've learned some dance move and piano lessons now are in need from the American Music World in Forest Park. 8 30-minute lesson series is normally $100. At ChicagoRadioDeals.com, it's yours for only $50. That's $6.25 a lesson. Of course, you'll need a piano, so American Music World is renowned for its dazzling array of pianos. These pianos retail for $6,000 and higher, but the gift of music is priceless. Find it for half off at ChicagoRadioDeals.com.
AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, the president taking on the NFL and the NBA. Invitation canceled. We'll explain.
Is Trump a racist? Is he a white supremacist? And does this calling out of black athletes, not specifically black athletes, but disproportionately black athletes, make him a white supremacist? Because that's what the left is saying. I want to hear what you have to say.
But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
Secretary of State Rex Tillerson says President Trump's new travel ban is protecting the American people well. He said the State Department will work together with other federal agencies to ensure the new measures are enforced. The new measure introduced over the weekend adds North Korea, Venezuela, and Chad to the list of countries restricted by travel to the U.S. Countries already under the ban: Iran, Libya, Somalia, Syria, and Yemen. Louisiana Senator Bill Cassidy says he's planning a new version of a health care overhaul bill later today. However, the Republican did not elaborate on what changes the bill may contain. Some of those changes may have stemmed from conversations with Senator Susan Collins, who still says she's leaning against voting for the latest version of the bill to repeal and replace Obamacare.
It's very difficult for me to envision a scenario where I would end up voting for this bill.
However, Cassidy is suggesting on ABC's This Week that a score from the CBO will help Collins and others turn into yes votes. Authorities in Mexico say the death toll from the last week's powerful earthquake is now 319. Mexican rescuers continue to search for survivors in the rubble of dozens of buildings. People at a church congregation in Nashville remain in shock after a man shot and killed a woman and wounded 6 others. Nashville police spokesman Don Aaron described reaction by witnesses at the Burnett Chapel Church of Christ in Antioch.
Some of them gasped when they heard the name and said that he used to go here, and they said a year or 2 ago.
Aaron saying it was Emmanuel Sampson killed a woman in the parking lot outside the church in Antioch, Tennessee. Sampson then walked into the church and started shooting. 35,000 in Bali evacuating their homes after authorities warned that a massive volcano there could erupt. Last erupted in 1963 and killed more than 1,000 at that time. Record-breaking heat continues to bake the Chicago area and all of the state. National Weather Service says the temperature reached 93 officially at O'Hare yesterday. A Melrose Park man accused of killing his ex-girlfriend and 4-year-old son last week in Stone Park due in bond court today. Daniel Barraza is charged in the murders of Marion Hurtado and Corbin Barraza. A sheriff's deputy in northern Illinois has been shot and wounded in Rockford after stopping a vehicle that had been involved in an earlier police chase. Winnebago County sheriffs tell us this morning that the deputy was shot 3 times on Saturday after the driver began running from the vehicle. That driver has not yet been arrested. Jordan Howard ran in for a game-winning 19-yard score. Bears stunned the Steelers 23-17 at Soldier Field. Jose Quintana tossing a complete game shutout. Cubs blanked the Brewers 5-0. White Sox never looked back after going up early, and they hold on for an 8-1 win over the Royals. The news service of Indeed.com. Are you hiring? Join the over 3 million businesses that use Indeed.com for hiring. You can post a job in minutes, manage your candidates from an easy-to-use dashboard. Post your next job on the world's #1 job site, Indeed.com. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, roasted fresh daily in Batavia, Illinois.
This is Dan Proth with 60 Seconds of Sanity, sponsored by Upstream-Ideas.com. Elizabeth Warren was born a poor Native American child. That's the Horatio Alger story she spun when confronted by a Boston radio talk show host about her hypocrisy of railing against the 1% while being a Grey Poupon-carrying member of it. Warren refused to concede she was a 1%er, instead recounting how her daddy was a janitor and her mom worked a minimum wage job. But they provided for their Indian princess. Warren worked her way through school, became an academic while also consulting for big insurance companies and big banks, and amassed a multi-million-dollar net worth. Warren tells her story in 3 dimensions. The rest of the 1% she shamelessly demagogues as one-dimensional Mr. Potter cartoons. Warren is a 1%er who overcame her humble beginnings. Everyone else is a robber baron, except for the champagne socialist fellow travelers in the Harvard faculty lounge, of course. Warren is not a public servant. The businesses she seeks to plunder are. Warren builds stylized political narratives. The entrepreneur built this country. She can't tell the truth about herself because Warren's politics are predicated on a lie. Not one she's lived, but one she wants to impose on you. Elizabeth Warren didn't build that, and neither can you.
All right, I have to admit it was an eyesore. The chipping and paint peeling on our front and back porch, it looked awful. But thanks to CertaPro painters, the porch looks brand new. The painters who showed up were professional, respectful. They were done in just a few hours, and when they left, the house looked brand new. They really are the best in the business, and it's not too late to book your exterior painting project. There are several spots open on CertaPro's schedule. Here's an idea. Let CertaPro painters transform your home while you're on vacation and return to a freshly painted house. They're celebrating their 25th anniversary this year, and so we invite you to experience the CertaPro difference. For a free estimate, call 1-800-GO-CERTA, CERTA, or visit CertaPro.com. That's Certa with the C. Get that painting project off your to-do list. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated. CertaPro painters, we do painting, you do life.
5:36. Let's get an update on your morning commute in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. On the Indiana Toll Road westbound, after State Road 49, the right lane remains blocked after a major crash, which happened last night, involving 3 trucks and a car. All eastbound lanes are open. Edens is clear. The Kennedy looks good. Ahead of the morning rush, you've got Eisenhower. A little tight Manheim to First Avenue. It's about a 2-minute delay. The outbound side is fine. Down Stevenson, slow Damon to the Rhine and State to Lakeshore Drive. 37 minutes, 3:55 to the drive. Outbound 36, little midway traffic, Pulaski to Cicero. Ryan, 17 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 20 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Bishop 423, traffic. Service of The Brave on NBC. America's favorite singing competition, Emmy winner The Voice, is back with superstar coaches Adam Levine, Blake Shelton, and Miley Cyrus, plus new coach, Grammy and Academy Award winner Jennifer Hudson. The Voice blind auditions start tonight, followed by the premiere of The Brave on NBC. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answers continues next with your official Chicagoland weather forecast next. Sunshine. Temperatures will again likely break the record of 90. Set back in 1933 will likely top out at 92. Clear and warm, 68. 90 tomorrow, relief on the way for Wednesday. 73 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the IRS Radio Hour with attorney Stephen Leahy every Sunday afternoon at 5 on AM 560 The Answer.
If you're talking about it, I'll be talking about it. Dennis Prager here. Join me this morning at 11 right here on AM 560 The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So there's two arguments that are being advanced by the Kaepernick crowd and their sympathizers. One is a First Amendment argument, and this is a way for people to hide behind having to take a position on whether it is proper or improper to show respect for the national anthem, respect for the flag. And then the second argument is that Trump is a racist. This is all about Trump being a white supremacist. I'm not kidding.
Well, because, they said he was quick to call NFL players sons of bitches, but he wasn't quick to call out the white supremacists in Charlottesville. That's what I kept hearing all weekend long. And again, I think if Colin Kaepernick was white, which he is, his mom is white, but if he was not African at all, President Trump still would have said something about taking a knee during the national anthem.
The problem, again, with this argument, there's a number of problems. One of the problems is this all predates Trump.
Right. You remind people of that.
So people want to put this on Trump because they want to make it about Trump rather than having to make it about the NFL players in question. So it's a nice little misdirection play that they're trying. But if you know the timeline on these protests, it's not difficult to understand exactly what they're doing and why that argument doesn't hold water. But, I mean, the leading lights of the left have permanently flipped the dimmer switch. They don't think anymore. They just brand. It's just the isms and the phobias. All these pieces this weekend.
You got a lot over there, Dan.
David Remnick in The New Yorker. Why racial demagoguery of Trump's assaults on Colin Kaepernick and Steph Curry. We'll get to Steph Curry. Op-ed in the Kansas City Star that accuses Trump of white supremacy. Condemning NFL, Trump as a white supremacist. This is all over the place. This is all that they have is branding racism. They can't think, so they brand. Their arguments don't hold up to scrutiny, so they name call, even though they themselves are too delicate to receive any name calling in their direction. But it is fascinating what they're trying to do to make this all about Trump rather than about the NFL and about culture.
And late. Oh, sorry. When you're
done. And so Joy Reid had a panel. Listen to this panel. Joy Reid on MSNBC. Two panelists. One is this. Her last name is Karine Jean-Pierre. Karine Jean-Pierre, I think is her name. Here's what she said. Listen to this argument. This is an argument that is being made all over the place by the left, including by ostensibly serious thinkers, the inheritors of John Kenneth Galbraith's legacy, except they're not.
So much for the president for promoting the Constitution and the First Amendment, right? I mean, that's what he's supposed to be doing. At the end of the day, not only is Donald Trump a petulant child, he's a racist. He was a racist in the 70s. He was one in the 80s. He was one in the 90s. He was one when he first stepped into the political arena. He was one when he kicked off his presidential campaign. And now, unfortunately, he's using this bullhorn to really push racism further and further. And he is the president of the United States. He's the person who is sitting in the Oval Office signing, executive orders behind the Resolute desk. Yeah.
Anybody disagree with that? That he's been a racist his entire life, and this is the latest manifestation of it? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line.
64636, type in DA, then a quick comment. Well, President Trump was asked last night, are you a racist? Is this a racist move to call people who kneel SOBs?
This has nothing to do with race. I've never said anything about race. This has nothing to do with race or anything else. This has to do with respect for our country and respect for our flag.
And Colin Kaepernick's mother, did you see her tweet over the weekend? She wrote, and she's white, proud mother of a bitch. Exclamation point, because he said that their son of a bitch is, so she tweeted that out.
She's a riot. So, but to the question of, since the president responded, is he right? Is Trump right, or is he a white supremacist? And we all got snookered
all the 60 million plus Americans who voted for Trump got fooled that we voted for a white supremacist, and this is evidence of it, don't you know? To Miss Jean Pierre's argument about him always being a racist, you know who disagree with that? Don't listen to me, please. Listen to a legitimate arbiter on the subject. How about Jesse Jackson Sr.?
I do want to express thanks to you, Donald Trump, for being with us tonight. We need your building skills, your gusto, your rent package for people on Wall Street who represent diversity. And we thank you for coming tonight. Let's give Donald Trump a big hand.
Oh!
Who's your buddy?
So,
a big hand for Donald Trump.
Big hand for Donald Trump, Jesse Jackson Sr. That was at a Rainbow Push Wall Street project a couple of decades ago. So I'm trying to pinpoint,
when he became racist?
Yeah, per Ms. Jean Pierre, because, of course, I take everything that pundits on MSNBC have to say as gospel. Trying to pinpoint when it was that Trump became a white supremacist. So if people could help me with that, I'd certainly appreciate it. Joan and Wilmette, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, guys. I just wanted to say that it has absolutely nothing to do with racism. It has to do with our American flag and being proud that you're an American. If you don't like America, if you don't like our American flag, then go live somewhere else. It doesn't matter if you're white or black or brown or purple. We're Americans. You salute our flag or you move somewhere else.
Yep.
Thanks for the call,
Again,
Joan.
I'll say this. European Football League is always looking for talented players. Colin Kaepernick could lead the division there if he goes to a European team.
A fun tweet on the topic, of course,
Yeah.
comes to us from Iowa Hawk.
Love him.
He's got it figured out. He's got it figured out what's going on. He tweeted, Trump makes stupid tweet, NFL overreacts, loses half its fans. NFL panics, overcorrects, loses remaining fans. Trump restarts the USFL. That's how
Bring
this is
back
going to
Doug
play
Flutie.
out.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, for the New
Remember
Jersey
that?
Generals, you better get Herschel Walker off the shelf. That was Trump's team.
That's right.
How about that?
I love the Iowa Hawk.
That could be how it plays out.
Yeah.
Ron on the South Side.
Hey, Dan?
Yep.
Yeah, to that last female caller. You know what? I don't acknowledge. If I go to a sporting event, and you know what? Tell her I don't have to now. I'm just saying I'm not going anywhere, so shut up. Look here. Here's my thing. What is the relative importance of even acknowledging it at a sporting event? See, that's my question. Your caller was right. I did read where the military has given the NFL some money. Now, Dan, do me a favor. You're talking about predating. Check and see if that was during the Obama administration, because we want to get the facts straight. But again, what's the difference between a football game, baseball game, and a concert? So just eliminate it all. But you know what? If I'm at a sporting event, if I want to stand, I might. And if I don't, and you know, it's nobody's business. And when I do, no one says anything to me. And you know what? That's a wise thing. So then again, to the lady, I don't need you to tell me what to do. But let's stop it at all these events. You can't choose one form. That's entertainment, Dan.
Well, I know, but I mean, you know, all of the great sports, the great American sports, the Dr. James Naismith gave us basketball, and Abner Doubleday gave us baseball, and Walter Camp gave us football.
I love baseball.
And we're coming together. We're coming together as a people to enjoy sport together, and so
in the sport at a concert. Some of the biggest, Dan. A rock concert attracts as many people. So eliminate it. But again, you know what? People need to let it go. But more importantly, people need to tell people what they need to do, that they need to acknowledge it, go away.
All right, thanks for the call, Ron. Appreciate it. John and Piatone.
Hi there. You know, it was even discussed on Fox about how the NFL won't be affected by the lack of participation at the games by fans. But you know what? Sooner or later, the fans are going to affect the advertisers.
Yeah.
Those that actually fund the games.
No question about it. Well, by the way, they've already been affected. I mean, week one this year over week one last year, down 14% in TV viewership. And there's been survey research done asking fans why they stopped watching, and the number one reason is these protests, not respecting the anthem and the politicization of the NFL. So there is a price to be paid. And John, you're right about going after the advertisers. I mean, we talk about how weak corporate C-suites are. The occupants of corporate C-suites are generally. So that goes in a lot of different directions, including if half of NFL fans or more, I would suspect, decide that they're taking a walk and express to advertisers exactly why they are.
What goes around comes around, Dan.
Absolutely. Thanks for the call, John. Tim in Woodstock.
Hey, good morning, Dan and Amy. My feeling is that Donald Trump, in calling largely the black players that name, I feel like he's treating them like he would any other American. I firmly believe the man would call anybody who did that. And I'm really trying. I don't believe racial relations are going to be healed in this country until the black community as a whole stops buying into the pandering of the left. I don't think they're really outraged by it at all. I think they're just using it as a political point. And my other point, just real quickly, is that I think singing the national anthem at any event is a privilege. It's an absolute privilege. And maybe what we should do, is the NFL should do, if it wants to make a point, is to say for maybe next week or the week after, we're not going to have the national anthem. What we're going to do is scroll all the names of the soldiers who've died in recent years and in training accidents, even here at home, protecting your sorry butts out there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks for the call, Tim. I don't think next week would be a good time to do it because I believe next week is Remembering Castro Week in the NFL.
Stop it.
Which I think will include for the commemorative
Che Guevara.
jerseys, it will include a Che Guevara option.
Yeah, okay.
Colin Kaepernick is going to give us a little bit of history. I think
know what?
a national address, a little bit of history on Cuba.
I'm telling you right now, Colin Kaepernick, because of this, is going to get picked up by an NFL team.
I don't think so.
Philip
on the Northwest side.
Yeah, Dan and Amy, it's a funny thing. They're so out of touch with reality. If I got to get up and you guys got to get up 1 a.m, and no football players ever had to, I'd like to see what they have to do if they don't have steroids and if they don't have testosterone products and media supporting all their work. And at the same time, I think about what brought football on was World War I. My great-grandfather was in, and they didn't want to fight each other, so they stopped and had a football game on Christmas. And I can't stand, growing up in Chicago, I gave up on football after Peyton got out when I seen all the gambling and all the Soviet-style stuff, especially since my mom lives in Vegas. And when I look at all these people, how badly they spit on all of our veterans and how badly they spit on everybody who loves America. They are part of the Hate America crowd. They're part of the narrative that keeps arguing us out of any kind of nationalism. And at the same time, when you look at the disgusting behavior of these people, think about all the white Christians that risk their farms, their families, their kids, and everything else in their lives to free these people. And then find me one football player, one basketball player that even gives a damn about any kid in Haiti or in any other place. Hold on. Dan, with all these wonderful things they get from Nike and all these other slave labor products. No. Every one of their endorsements are slave labor's Chinese products.
Yeah,
they do not put a factory in any country. They don't put a factory in any country. They don't protest slavery in Africa. They don't protest slavery anywhere on the planet.
Okay,
We're the
Philip.
only ones who have freed ourselves.
Okay, Philip. Thanks for the call. Look, let's not go all the way over on the
I want
other
to talk
side
about
of the deep
child
end.
labor laws. No, really.
But also, not every football player. First of all, football players, professional athletes work hard to get there as a general rule, and not every football player protested the anthem. Not every football player is a bad guy. Obviously, most of
very
them are not.
philanthropic.
So I mean, let's focus on the bad actors, which is what, frankly, President Trump was focused on, and the politicization of sports, like everything else. I mean, these pieces coming out for the left are comical. They just don't have the capacity to think anymore. Derek Anderson in The Atlantic talking about lamenting the politicization of football. accusing Trump of doing it. Again, it predates Trump. The left politicizes everything. They pollute everything with their politics. They've done it to K through 12 education. They've done it to the academy. They've done it to the arts. They've done it to corporate C-suites. Maybe we'll draw the line at sports. Maybe we won't. Nick and Zion.
Hey, how you doing? I was just commenting on the other caller when he basically told the woman to shut up. He's just a little hypocritical. So they're allowed to express their opinion. He's allowed to express theirs. But when someone immediately contradicts them or says, no, I don't think that's right, suddenly they're racist, they're this, they're that, and all they do is label. Well, okay, fine. Then do we get to label them just as well? That's all I had to say.
Thanks,
Have
Nick.
a good day.
Thank you, Nick.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Whether you like it or not, winter is right around the corner. As the leaves start to turn, you may be wondering if the vehicle you depend on every day to take the kids to school, run errands, and get to work is prepared to handle another Chicagoland winter. Don't worry, Joe Cotton Ford has you covered during their Ford SUV sales event. Now through September 30th, you'll save thousands when you select from hundreds of in-stock new Ford SUVs and crossovers. As one of the highest repeat customer dealerships in Chicagoland, the team at Joe Cotton Ford has been working with generations of Ford buyers and their families. They'll offer you a different car buying experience. In fact, your satisfaction is their top priority. And remember, Joe Cotton Ford is open in both sales and service. They service all vehicles, even on Saturday. It's easy. Schedule your service appointment now at joecottonford.com. Get to Joe Cotton Ford today and drive home your new Ford car, truck, or SUV. Gary and North Avenue in Carroll Stream or at joecottonford.com. That's joecottonford.com.
Gentlemen, when it comes to your health, do you know your numbers? You may know your blood pressure and cholesterol, but do you know your testosterone and prostate numbers? I know my numbers. Low T Center made it easy. You walk in, take a simple blood test, and with the convenience of their on-site lab, I'm able to get my results in minutes. In honor of Prostate Health Month, that's this month, September, Low T Center is offering a $50 testosterone and prostate level test. So, gentlemen, if you don't know your numbers, haven't met your deductible, or don't have insurance, you should take advantage of this limited time offer. I know at Low T Center they'll take great care of you. Plus, it's quick, easy, and you'll get your results in about 20 minutes. Do yourself a favor and call 312-239-3427. Tell them Dan Prof sent you. That's me. 312-239-3427. Call now or visit them online at lowtcenter.com.
If you have pain, listen up. Dennis Prager here. You don't need to live in pain. Let me repeat that. You don't have to live in pain. Chronic pain is the worst, whether it's from an accident or pain that just develops. So, Chicagoland, you're in luck. Dr. Ken Candido is one of the nation's most respected and successful pain doctors. He's been voted one of Chicago's best pain doctors several times. Bottom line, he's the pain doctor you need. Dr. Candido of Chicago Anesthesia and Pain Specialists will help you get off pain medication and all of its side effects. How? By finding the source of your chronic pain and fixing it.
This is Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. Let's make you pain-free.
Call Dr. Ken Candido and make an appointment with a cutting-edge, respected, and successful pain physician. Go to mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com. Thousands have been helped with their chronic pain, and you can be the next one. Get the phone number and all the info you need at mypainchicago.com.
For 22 years, he served his country in the United States Marine Corps, including a tour of duty in Vietnam. He earned 2 Purple Hearts, a Bronze Star, and a Silver Star. And this year, on Veterans Day, retired Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North is coming to Chicago for Freedom Summit 2017, November 11th at the Westin Chicago Northwest. See Oliver North, Dinesh D'Souza, Larry Elder, and many more. Get your tickets at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Sponsored in part by Joe Cotton Ford.
5:57. Check of the morning commute in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. The Kennedy Expressway has outbound delays now from the Circle to Sayre and then from Cumberland on to westbound 190, where those delays continue to around Manheim. Travel time downtown to O'Hare is about 30 minutes now. Inbound okay at 20 minutes. Eden's looking good. The Eisenhower inbound, a little tight Manheim to First Avenue. 33 minutes. Thorndale to downtown. Outbound okay. Inbound Stevenson, a crash at the Rhine just cleared on the ramp there to the inbound Rhine. We had 44 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 36. Rhine, 19 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 27 minutes. I-80 to the merge. Bishop Ford 23 and outbound there are delays with a crash at 111th in the right lane. Traffic is a service of Accountemps. Do you need accounting and finance professionals for a long-term or recurring project? If you prefer the same professional to handle your project from start to finish, Accountemps Salaried Professional Service is your solution. Learn more at Accountemps.com. Accountemps, a Robert Half company. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues after a full update from Fox News and your official Chicagoland weather forecast with our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Today, mostly sunny and hot. High 90. Tonight, partly cloudy and warm. Low 68. Tomorrow, partly sunny and very warm with a high 90. Mostly cloudy at night with a shower in a few spots. Low 61. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560. The Answer.
Currently 69 at O'Hare. The news, a service of the Brave on NBC. America's favorite singing competition. Emmy winner The Voice is back. Superstars, coaches, Adam, Blake, Miley, plus new coach, Grammy and Academy Award winner Jennifer Hudson. Voice blind auditions start tonight, followed by the premiere of The Brave on NBC. 5:59. Here are the stories we're following on AM 560, The Answer. Record-breaking heat continues in Chicago. Temperature reached 93 yesterday. Melrose Park man accused of killing his ex-girlfriend and 4-year-old son last week in Stone Park due in bond court later today. No one hurt after a fire blazed at a West suburban Geneva ice arena. Barbara Blaine, founder and former president of the Survivors Network of those abused by priests, has died at the age of 61. And after 2 years of buildup, Mel Reynolds is prepared to defend himself at trial beginning later today in Chicago. Bears stunned the Steelers at Soldier Field. Jose Quintana and the Cubs blanked the Brewers. White Sox winners over the Royals. WIND Chicago News Time is 6 o'clock.
More NFL players took a stand by not standing. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
I think it's very disrespectful to our flag and to our country. So I certainly think the owners should do something about it.
President Trump yesterday, his calling players who kneel during the anthem SOBs Friday escalated the protests. About 200 players sat or knelt. Other teams locked arms with owners in solidarity yesterday.
The type of stand that Donald Trump is taking on is completely wrong.
He's a Patriots fan supporting the players. She's not.
It has to do with the men and women that are our sisters and brothers that went over there and fought for our freedom.
Some teams stayed in the locker room during the anthem, like Pittsburgh. Though one Steeler, Alejandro Villanueva, a former Army Ranger who fought in Afghanistan, came out by himself and stood. President Trump has ordered a new travel ban to replace the expired, much-challenged old one. Fox's John Decker, live at the White House.
Citing threats to national security starting next month, most citizens of Iran, Libya, Syria, Yemen, Somalia, Chad, North Korea, and Venezuela will be banned from entering the U.S. Rather than the 90-day suspension that the president authorized soon after taking office, the new order imposes permanent restrictions on travel. Shortly after signing the new executive order, the president took to Twitter writing, "Making America safe is my number one priority. We will not admit those into our country we cannot safely vet." The Supreme Court set to hear arguments about the original travel ban's constitutionality on October 10th. Dave?
John, a church usher is being hailed a hero near Nashville. A gunman started shooting. He got his gun, held him at bay after the man killed one parishioner, wounded 6 others.
He's in police custody. He is charged with murder. His name is Emmanuel Sampson. He is a 25-year-old legal U.S. resident. He moved here from Sudan in 1996. Parishioners from this church actually tell us years ago he used to come here for services, but they say they haven't seen him in years. They didn't recognize him yesterday because he was wearing a mask.
Fox's Julian Mealy in Antioch. Fox News, fair and balanced.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans. Every day people ask me, Jay, did I miss out? Have the rates gone up? The answer is no. Rates are still low, and it's a perfect time to refinance your home, especially if your mortgage rate is higher than 4.25%. If you'd like to lower your interest rate and save thousands of dollars in interest without starting over on a new 30-year loan, a Quicken Loans Yorgage is what you're looking for. With our exclusive Yorgage, you can choose a term that works best for you, anywhere from 8 to 30 years. The rate today on an 8-year Yorgage is 3.25%, APR 3.67%. For 7 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation for customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. And for the 4th year in a row, they've also ranked us highest in the nation for mortgage servicing. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to QuickenLoans.com. That's 800-QUICKEN.
For J.D. Power award information, visit jdpower.com. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
One thing I know for sure, that so many of our listeners get a great night's sleep, and that's because so many of you have purchased MyPillows. You've saved a lot of money, and if you don't sleep on a MyPillow, I suggest you act now. By using the promo code Amy, you'll get the absolute best deal available anywhere. It's the 50% discount on a MyPillow 4-pack. That includes 2 premium MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows. You can move the fill to give you the support you need regardless of sleep position, and you won't wake up to a stiff neck or headache. They're made in America. You can wash them and dry them. They are hypoallergenic, and there's a 10-year warranty and a 60-day money-back guarantee. The founder of MyPillow, Mike Lindell, is a true patriot, and he's generous. He donated 60,000 pillows to Texas flood victims. So get your 50% off the 4-pack in September by calling 800-489-0201. Use the promo code Amy or visit MyPillow.com. That's 800-489-0201. Promo code Amy.
As the sounds of summer from your pool and spa wind down, All Seasons Pools, Spas, and Outdoor Living has some end-of-season specials they'd like to remind you about. New customers get $100 off their in-ground pool closing. And if you're already a customer, refer a friend to close their pool with All Seasons Pools, Spas, and Outdoor Living, and both of you get $100 off. Also, get end-of-season specials on new pool equipment and stalls. For a limited time, save 15% on new in-ground pool filters, salt chlorine generators, pool heaters, and more. And as a special bonus to save you even more money, in-ground pool variable speed pumps are 15% off, and ComEd customers receive a $300 ComEd rebate. Remember, it's never too late to start planning your backyard paradise for next season. All Seasons Pools and Spas begin from the ground up with creative custom design, expert pool construction and hardscaping, fire pits, outdoor kitchens, pergolas, and more. For over 60 years, making a splash in your neighborhood. All Seasons Pools and Spas and Outdoor Living, 135th Street in Orland Park, or resortlivingathome.com.
Okay, from the start.
Acerola cherry.
Alfalfa leaf, aloe vera, apples, asparagus, banana.
Beets, bell pepper, broccoli.
Blueberries, blackberries, cranberry.
I make my Texas superfood from 55 raw, vine-ripened fruits and vegetables.
Mangosteen.
Pineapple, sweet potato.
Papaya, parsley, peach.
You can see all 55 on TexasSuperfood.com.
Raspberry, spinach, all of the nutrients that we need on a daily basis.
You know, it's been barely a week, and already my skin is better. I lost 60 pounds. I mean, that's huge.
Since I've been on superfood, I haven't been sick.
I'm Dennis Black here in Dallas, Texas. Wouldn't you rather be healthy, energetic, and fit?
It's borderline shocking how much energy I have.
Join us on TexasSuperfood.com.
TexasSuperfood.com.
Or call 877-55-TEXAS. That's 877-55-TEXAS. 877-55-TEXAS. Or
TexasSuperfood.com.
Ransomware is software that can infiltrate your business through email, enabling cyber criminals to hijack sensitive information as ransom for your own data's release. Leveraging Barracuda email security with advanced threat detection can stop a ransomware attack in its tracks. As an added measure, Barracuda Backup allows you to recover your data without having to surrender to extortion. Crime doesn't pay when you protect your business data with Barracuda. Go to barracuda.com/ransomware to learn more.
Allergy sufferers are hearing a lot of numbers these days about symptoms and relief, but the number sufferers want most is 0, as in 0 nasal allergy symptoms. And nothing gets you closer to 0 than Nasacort, because unlike antihistamines that stop only one cause of your allergy symptoms, Nasacort stops more, and stopping more gets you closer to 0. For 24-hour relief of your worst nasal allergy symptoms, including congestion, choose Nasacort. It stops more of what makes you miserable. Use as directed.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Grow My Retirement with Bill Geiger of Geiger Wealth. Tune in Saturday afternoons at 2 for Grow My Retirement with Bill Geiger of Geiger Wealth.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So picking up on the NFL controversy between the owners and the president, the players and the president, and really dividing fans as well.
Yeah.
So it's great because let's hash this out. Let's hash this out.
Let's work it out, shall we?
And why don't we start by illuminating the folly of the left's arguments. We talked a little bit last hour about the Trump is a white supremacist argument that's being made. It's not really an argument. It's just a branding.
Yeah.
There's no real basis for it. It's just he's a racist because I say he's a racist. It's sort of this self-reinforcing silliness. So going back to, speaking of self-reinforcing silliness, going back to Joy Reid's panel on MSNBC, one of the other panelists was this guy named Kurt Bardella. Here's the argument that Kurt Bardella makes in opposition to Trump.
It's not right to terminate someone because they exercise their First Amendment to speak. It's not right to try to take someone's employment away because they are exercising their belief and demonstrating that they are discriminated against as a class in this country, and that's a way that they're going to show that.
So is that why Kurt Bardella and the left opposed James Damore being fired from Google? Is that why they oppose Kurt Schilling being fired from ESPN? Is that why they oppose those who would take a business away from a Christian baker or florist because of a different belief system? Is that the same left that would oppose Brendan Eich having hit the company he founded, Mozilla, being taken out from underneath him by the board because he made a donation, which is political speech, for a defend marriage amendment in California? You see the hypocrisy of the left? So there's ignorance and hypocrisy. In the intersection of ignorance and hypocrisy, a lot of accidents. A lot of accidents at that intersection.
Well, the left is, maintaining, President Trump shouldn't have inserted himself. This is not his business. This is nothing. This is beneath the office of the presidency. But they all weekend long, they were arguing with me. He was so quick to call the people who kneel during NFL games during the national anthem son of a bitches, SOBs. But yet he wasn't quick to denounce white supremacists in Charlottesville. That took a few days.
Can we stick to the First Amendment issue? Because I want to make sure people understand this. Number one, the left is hypocritical. They are fine with employment or businesses being taken away from people with whom they disagree. That has been established. So all of these First Amendment defenders that you hear circulating, in the media echo chambers this weekend are hypocrites. They're not free speech advocates. And then a bunch of the free speech advocates are also just trying not to take a position on the issue. They just want to, wrap themselves in the First Amendment to, in their mind, occupy some higher ground. There's no higher ground to occupy by doing that. This is a judgment call. Because the First Amendment is a restraint on government, not private business. These simpletons. And it's amazing the lack of pushback in terms of understanding the First Amendment by all of these who are pretending to distill it for the masses. They don't know what the hell they're talking about.
Does Steve Mnuchin know? I mean, he said NFL players don't have the right for free speech when they're on the field.
Yeah, well, that's right. They're in an employment situation.
So that if an owner like McCaskey, who I had heard, told the Bears players, we are all going to stand during the national anthem. Lock arms, we're going to stand together. Is that, he's your employer. You do what your boss says. But then there's different rules for different teams because Tomlin kept his team inside.
Yes, these are private employers. Just like Google is a private employer. That's the hypocrisy of it and the ignorance of it. It is not a restraint on private individuals, the First Amendment. It's a restraint on government, nitwits. Government, nitwits who don't understand the difference or are pretending not to understand the difference. And here's something else, too, for those free speech defenders, because I'd love to hear from one. Well, I probably won't now.
312-642-5600. There's always hope.
So, if this is just about free expression and guys like Kurt Bardella, MSNBC, hey, First Amendment, First Amendment, First Amendment. Again, they don't know how to make arguments, so they just rattle off a top line. First Amendment, First Amendment. Okay. If white players during the national anthem were giving the Nazi salute.
Ooh.
Would these same people be defending them for free expression? First Amendment, First Amendment, First Amendment, First Amendment. And this nobody should have their employment taken away by expressing their viewpoint. Is that what these dingbats would be saying? Come on. Does anybody believe that? Tony on the South Side.
Good morning, all. I just wanted, like I told your screener, I am an avowed racist because I've been told I'm a racist by Barack Obama. I'm a retired police officer, and every police officer is a racist, according to Barack. Evidence the case with Mr. Gates in Boston and the beer summit.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Tony. Exactly. Tweet from Dr. Roosevelt, too. Don't forget the high school football coach who was fired for preying on his own. Preying on his own. First Amendment. Where's the left? Tim on the North Side.
Hey, Dan. The players need the right to have free speech, just like everybody else. Everybody's complaining about the Democrats, or I should say the left, subjugating people who want to come and speak at their colleges and not having the right to do so. So if we don't allow the players the right to free speech or to show their free speech by kneeling, we are no better than them.
What are you talking about? There is Tim, listen. There is no right to free speech in an employment environment. The First Amendment is a negative restraint on government, not private employers. So of course you have a right to free speech as an American, but you don't have a right to free speech in the context of your employment. If I started ranting about how, all conservatives are racists and blah, 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 if I took, the WCPT line of argumentation on the world, do you think I'd be employed at Salem? I wouldn't, and I shouldn't be. Is my right to free speech being abridged? No. It's an employment arrangement. And the Salem isn't the government, and neither is the Pittsburgh Steelers or the Chicago Bears. There's no right to free speech in that context. Thanks for the call, Tim. Just in that context, of course, there is a right to free speech. Colin Kaepernick can stand in the public square. He can stand on a sidewalk. He can rent a hall and say whatever he wants to say. I mean, so long as the hall that's renting to him is okay with that.
Exactly.
I mean, but there's a difference between public and private. Public and private. You don't have rights that impose responsibilities, which is why the left phonies up all these rights that are not rights. They're privileges. They're opportunities. A right is something that exists among all of us at the same time without imposing any duty on the other to provide it. That's why freedom of religion. Amy has her religious belief. I have my religious belief. Neither one of us is obligated to provide for the others, and neither one of us can impinge on the others. That's the right to free speech. But it's the government weighing in and putting its finger on the scale for one versus the other, or restraining me and not to the benefit of Amy. I mean, do you understand the difference between public and private?
Yeah, I do.
Because a lot of people don't seem to. Right to free speech, right to free speech, right to free speech. Know what you're talking about. Hey, Tom and Schaumburg.
Isn't it just ironic? Whenever the left is on the wrong side of an issue, they have to change the dialogue. And they, of course, reach right for the race card. Let me tell you something about football fans. They don't have million-dollar salaries, Lamborghinis, or beachfront property. And when they see these spoiled brats urinate on our flag, they're outraged. And that's why the ratings are going down. That's why people are walking away. Trump is right. Everybody else is wrong. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom. Well, here's the other thing, though, too, people walking away. I mean, this is a real thing. And so the question is, are you going to boycott the NFL? Stop watching Bears games, stop purchasing the merchandise, stop patronizing the advertisers?
I can't. I love it too much. I thought about that yesterday. Like, we should really walk out. But I was so pleased with what the Bears did. I walked in wanting the Steelers to win. And after that they were cowards and hanging in the locker room, except for Alejandro Villanueva, which, by the way, his jersey sales are up now to the number 3 position, Dan. They keep moving up and up and up.
Third for Steelers.
Third.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Now it's first
overall.
this morning. Now it's first for Steelers.
Oh, is it?
And, yep, he went up that high because people love what he did.
Yeah.
West Point grad, played football there, Army Ranger, God bless him. But I mean, even Steeler fans yesterday were horrified. I felt sick after that. So then I started cheering for the Bears. Now I want the Bears, and we saw the best game in the world yesterday.
Well,
that was our Super Bowl.
There was a report that I wasn't there. You were there, so confirm this. That when the Bears scored the first touchdown, Steeler fans were cheering.
Oh, the people that I was with that are Steeler fans were appalled, and I didn't see anybody cheering for the Bears' first touchdown, but you can tell that the fans were sickened by what happened. And they were even booing when they took the field. They booed.
Yeah.
Too.
Well,
booed their own team.
It's cowardly.
Well, it's an NFL rule that you have to be on the field for the playing of the national anthem. Look at the rules.
Forget the rule. Forget
Well,
the rule
that's
for
why
a second.
Tomlin was out
it's
there.
the propriety of it. It's the morality of it. Forget the
Cowardly
rules for
act.
a second. It is cowardly. And as a lifelong Steelers fan, diehard Steelers
you
fan,
love the Steelers.
I was ashamed of them. Ashamed.
It's embarrassing.
I'm a huge James Harrison fan because he's a throwback to the old steel curtain days. Ashamed that James Harrison didn't provide the locker room leadership that he normally provides. It was disgusting. It's pathetic. It was weak.
And then the Titans did the same thing. The Seahawks did the same thing where they hid in the locker room.
Well, if you want to boycott, you can also bring it locally. If you want to respond, if you want to engage. One of our listeners alerted me to what was said on the Score on Saturday morning.
What was it?
Steve Rosenblum, who's a Tribune sports columnist, and Hub Arkush, of course, publisher of Pro Football Weekly, they took up what Trump had to say the night before on Friday. Steve Rosenblum from the Tribune called Trump the fecal matter in chief. Hub Arkush also took out after Trump, and he called him, I'm quoting, degenerative douchebag. Maybe you want to, all you sports fans, maybe you want to weigh in over at the Score, at the Tribune, at Pro Football Weekly. Because I learned from Bob Costas over the weekend, and I actually agree with him, not the way he characterized people, but Bob Costas was on with Bill Maher about this topic. Listen to what he had to say about the intersection of sports and politics.
Yeah, but sports somehow gets to all the big issues that really are bubbling up in our society.
It often intersects, despite the mouth breathers who say, leave it all out of sports. I just tuned in to hear there's a ground ball to shortstop. Fine. Okay.
Wow. Don't call the mouth breathers, Bob. They're your bread and butter.
Yeah, mouth breathers. I understand you want sports to be held inviolate, but you can't insulate sports from the outside world. And the greatness of sports is that sometimes it's ahead of the learning curve when it comes to improving society, making us a better country. Think about integration and how sports was ahead of integration and ahead of combating racism, particularly directed against Black Americans. That's the greatness of sports, can be. Now, when sports is just throwing in with the left and becoming totalitarian and, to some extent, denigrating America, this is not the best of sports. So you should weigh in. Bob Costas said so. No less an authority than Bob Costas. So Steve Rosenblum over at the Tribune and Hub Arkush, and again, it calls to mind the story we mentioned last week, a look at that Chicago City Wire did, one of my publications. 57 Chicago sports journalists, 35 are Democrat primary voters versus 14 Republican. That, 2.5 to 1. I mean, gosh, that's a veritable conservative bastion compared to the D.C. press corps. But nonetheless, the leading voices in Chicago sports media are all left. All left. I mean, there's a few. Mike Mulligan is the one that's only voted in a Republican primary, more than one Republican primary, no Democrats. So he's a leading voice. But for the most part, all the beat reporters, and you heard what Rosenblum and Arkush had to say, and the sports anchors, they're left. And I mean, think about that. So your D.C. press corps, your local Chicago and Springfield press corps, when it comes to news and politics and now sports, they're all like 2.5 to 9 to 1 left. This is where you get your information, other than this station and a few other outlets. You don't think that has an impact? Ralph and Rantoul, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, good morning. By the way, all those sports guys you mentioned, I heard part of the broadcast as I was listening to some Bears pregame and other drivel, actually looking for baseball news. And what they miss also, Dan, and what you brought up is the fact that it's a private organization. I think that Goodall and the other management owner people are really missing the boat on this one. You're correct to point out it's not a free speech thing. You're under an employment. Hey, they're not allowed to sew patches or anything on their uniforms willy-nilly or wear the right shoes. So Colin Kaepernick, in his own little micro-hypocrisy, he puts on the right uniform, the right color. He doesn't violate all that. Why? Because they go after his pocketbook. And I think that what's really hurting the NFL is bad product. Kind of like number 31 on the Bears after a brilliant...
Oh, my God, Marcus Cooper. So embarrassing.
The guy, I'm just thinking the guy's so dumb that his brain ran out of the instruction set about what to do. And he just shut down at about the 2-yard line.
It was a 1-yard line.
His mind went blank, kind of like a car stops moving after fuel. His brain didn't have any more instructions, but he was too focused on, I think, what the NFL is getting all about, which is celebrate the me, the brand me. All he could think about was celebrating in the end zone, but what he forgot to think about is there are still people pursuing him that want to prevent him from going into the end zone, which is exactly what happens. If I were John Fox, I would have benched his sorry butt. I would have loved to have been in the locker room and heard what was screamed at those people, but that's what's hurting the NFL. Not only this idiocy of taking a kneel for the national anthem, most of these guys wouldn't even be born if it hadn't been for all the people that died and fought for this country. Stand up, show some respect. You're getting paid ridiculous amounts of money for playing a game as a grown person. How many of those guys would be able to go out and learn a trade and operate a machine at a machine shop? I don't know. Thank God they can run and throw a football.
Thanks for the call, Ralph. And and to be fair, they're paid a lot of money because there's a lot of fan interest. If the fan interest goes away, the money goes away. You see how that works? It's the circle of capitalism. By the way, I thought that it was restrained on his part to just set up the field goal to end the half.
Oh yeah, exactly.
As opposed to running up the score with a touchdown.
Right. Can't end the quarter on a penalty though. So thank God the Steelers kicked the ball out.
I thought it was very sporting of that Bears cornerback.
Oh,
David and McCook, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Hi.
I'm in Arizona. I'm a truck driver. I listen to you guys religiously on iHeart.
Thank you.
Dan, you are super intelligent. You crack me up. You get more wound up about this stuff than I do. Amy, you're the sexiest person on radio.
Well, I'm the sexiest person on radio, but
my point, what I wanted to make a comment on these guys that are doing this kneeling, it's a disgrace. I have several family members that are military veterans. It's disgraceful and disgusting what they're doing, but if they have a legitimate reason to protest black oppression, I never hear anyone giving me an example of how they're being oppressed. I get up every day early like you do, put my boots on, and go to work. All you hear about, if you hear it on the news, a crime being committed, robberies, riots, looting, it's always black people. So quit saying it's white people's fault.
No.
Well,
right.
Well, this whole thing started because of police brutality.
There's a lot of black truck drivers. These guys are great guys because they work for a living. They're just like me and you. But all these people you see on the news always committing all these crimes, the majority of them are black. So quit blaming the police and white people for watching you and so-called profiling. I'm just saying quit blaming all your problems on white people.
Yeah. Thanks for the call, David. Appreciate that. Stay safe on the roads there. Here's what Jerry Jones said, and I think this is what people are getting to. Jerry Jones weighed in. I do not think the place to express yourself in society is as we recognize the American flag. So is that racism? Respecting the flag and respecting the anthem is not the same thing as endorsing everything that's ever happened in America, past or present. It's not to say that America has no problems, that we don't have challenges of people. Of course we do, because we're all sinners and we're all imperfect. And, the nature of man doesn't really change that much over time. So there's going to be strife and there are going to be problems. But if you can't respect the ideals of America as enshrined in the flag and the anthem, then you're going to face pushback, because a lot of other people understand the aspirational nature that's contained in the symbol that is our flag. And it's proper to pay respect to it and to think about all that you have as an American that you wouldn't have if you weren't.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
For many businesses, hiring is tough, which makes it critical to choose the right place to post your jobs. You need qualified candidates fast and on budget, and you don't want to sign a long-term contract or pay upfront fees. That's why you need Indeed.com, the world's #1 job site. Independent research shows Indeed delivers 6 times more hires than any other job site. You can post a job in minutes and even set up screener questions to help you zero in on qualified candidates. You can review applicants, take notes, and schedule interviews, all from an easy-to-use online dashboard. For a limited time, Indeed is offering new users a $50 credit to make their first job listing a sponsored job, with premium visibility so more candidates will see it. You want to make a great hire fast, and this exclusive offer gives you a head start. Find out why over 3 million businesses use Indeed for hiring. To redeem this offer, go to Indeed.com/radio. That's Indeed.com/radio. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
This is an important message for Chicagoland business owners. If you own or rent your building, chances are you're paying more than your fair share of property taxes. Ask yourself this question. If you could lower your property taxes with the help of licensed professionals who have an 80% average success rate, yes, you heard that right, an 80% success rate, lowering business owners' property taxes, would you do that? Corporate Valuation Advisors has reduced their clients' property taxes on average 20% over their 25-year service history throughout the greater Chicagoland area. Here's a Corporate Valuation Advisor's recent property tax savings success story from a local Chicago business owner. First-year property tax savings, $26,265. Total 4-year property tax savings of $104,679. Call Corporate Valuation Advisors. They can help at 833-FAIR-TAX. That's 833-FAIR-TAX. You can also find them at yourfairtax.com or by visiting am560theanswer.com and looking for the Corporate Valuation Advisors banner, or type in Fair Tax in the search area.
AM 560, The Answer.
I saw the most amazing film last night. It's called Mully, and it tells the inspiring story of Charles Mully. He was an orphan who became a millionaire, Dan, and then sold everything he owned to rescue more than 12,000 homeless, abused, or orphaned children in Kenya. And it is really just a well-shot film. It is a beautiful film. It will make you cry. It will make you think about your Christianity. It'll make you think about God's calling. And for 3 nights only, this film, Mully, will be in theaters October 3rd, 4th, and 5th. You can buy tickets now at mullymovie.com. That's Mully, M-U-L-L-Y, mullymovie.com. You must see this film. It's guaranteed to inspire you and to strengthen your faith. And right now, if you buy a ticket online, $15 will immediately be donated on your behalf to help orphans in the United States and at Mully's Children's Family. But again, you've got to see this movie. And I just learned that we're going to have Charles Mully on this program on Thursday. So
Great.
Can't wait. But again,
Putting
Mully
that movie
Movie.
in queue,
Yeah, mullymovie.com. It's right at the theater by your place on
AMC River East.
AMC River East, and it's also a Webster Place and many others. Buy tickets now, mullymovie.com. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
I'm going to need to brush up on my knowledge of and understanding of NASCAR, because it's about to become my new favorite sport, thanks to Richard Petty and Richard Childress. And in addition to that, looks like Graham Cassidy does not have the 50 votes required. We'll talk about that at 6:36.
But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Record-breaking hot weather continues to hit Chicagoland. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott on AM 560. The Answer. National Weather Service says temps reached 93 yesterday, breaking the record of 91. A 7th suspect in the London subway bombing is now in custody. Counter-terror officers arrested a 20-year-old man today in the Welsh capital of Cardiff. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson says the State Department and other federal agencies will work together to enforce President Trump's new travel restrictions. The president's new executive order adds North Korea and Venezuela, along with Chad, to the list of countries with restricted travel. Louisiana Senator Bill Cassidy says forget what had been introduced. He has a new version of a health insurance overhaul bill due this morning. Louisiana Senator Cassidy says he'll introduce that bill later today.
Our language says that if a state wishes to do something different, as they do something different, they must first establish that those with pre-existing conditions have access to affordable and adequate coverage.
Senator Susan Collins is still leaning against voting for Graham Cassidy.
It's very difficult for me to envision a scenario where I would end up voting for this bill.
Fired up by tweets from President Trump, NFL players took their protest from silent to public during the national anthem across the U.S. and in England. Bucs wideout Deshaun Jackson saying he didn't appreciate the president's comments.
For someone who's supposed to be, represent our country, how are we supposed to follow after him? He's supposed to be our leader, but, that disrespect, blatantly words that are being said, I don't think any NFL player looks at their moms as son of a bee, so just disrespect.
Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin defending the president's call, calling for the ouster of some NFL players who refuse to stand.
The NFL has all different types of rules. You can't have stickers on your helmet. You have to have your jerseys tucked in. The owner should have a rule that players should have to stand in respect for the national anthem.
Appearing on ABC's This Week, Mnuchin says the NFL is a job and employers have a right to enforce rules when the players are working. Congregation members at a church near Nashville remain in shock after a man shot and killed a woman and wounded 6 others on Sunday. Police say it was Emmanuel Sampson, a former member, who killed a woman in the parking lot outside that church in Antioch. A Melrose Park man accused of killing his ex-girlfriend and 4-year-old son last week in Stone Park is due in bond court today. We'll follow the case of Daniel Barraza. And after 2 years of buildup, disgraced former Congressman Mel Reynolds preparing to defend himself at trial beginning today at the Dirksen Federal Building. Bears stunned the Steelers 23-17 at Soldier Field. Cubs blanked the Brewers 5-0, and the White Sox 8-1 winners over the Royals. The news, a service of Accountemps. In today's economy, highly skilled accounting and finance pros can be hard to find. As the leader in specialized temporary staffing, Accountemps provides top accounting and finance talent where and when you need it the most. Visit accountemps.com. A Robert Half Company. 6:35 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Home isn't just a place, it's the feeling of knowing you're safe. ADT lets you take that feeling with you. Learn more at ADT.com.
Raj Shah, host of Secure Retirement Radio.
This is the time more than ever to look at your accounts and say, you know what? I've made a good amount of money back. Why give that money back, especially if you're entering into retirement and you need to generate an income? You need to have all of that money. So why give back what you've earned back from 2008?
Tune in for Secure Retirement Radio with Raj Shah, Chicago's safe money strategist. Sunday mornings at 7 here on AM 560, The Answer.
Daily stress is a big deal. Fact is, the terrible impact of stress is very deadly and shortens our lives. Stressed individuals attract diseases, just like blood in the water attracts sharks. Hi, this is Dr. David Kolbaba. I'm the show host of Health Quest Radio, the longest-running health news and science show in Chicago. And for over 33 years, we share practical concepts from a natural healthcare perspective to minimize the need for all those dangerous drugs and risky surgeries. Today, it's our dirt-cheap adrenal stress index test. No blood, just spit. Most people flunk on their first go-around signaling adrenal gland distress. And then following our stress-busting strategies, most individuals pass their second test with flying colors. So if you can spare a little spit, call and purchase your first dirt-cheap adrenal stress index test, and we'll hold that same special low price for your follow-up test. Call 800-794-1855. You can't get any cheaper than dirt cheap. 800-794-1855. And be sure to tune into Health Quest Radio this Saturday morning at 11.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Jim Durkin, founding partner of the Martech Group, a global market research firm based in Chicago since 1985 and a longtime customer of Signature Bank. When our business moved to our current Loop location, I recall seeing Mick O'Rourke and his two business partners, Brian Duncan and Kevin Bastuga, laying the foundation for Signature Bank. When Signature opened its doors in 2006, I was proud to move our accounts there and become a shareholder. Being in the consulting business, the Martech Group has a keen understanding of the value of relationships, trust, and attentiveness. Whether dealing with our U.S. practice or our international operations, Signature Bank is always there when we need them. That's why the Martech Group is proud to have Signature Bank as a valued business partner.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
6:38 and a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Pike, the eastbound Adams Tollway is jammed for the Tri-State onto the Kennedy Expressway. Those delays continue to foster. 25 minutes O'Hare to downtown, outbound 47. It's 17 minutes to get to Montrose. There's some airport traffic. Eden's 26 minutes, Lake Cook Junction, outbound 19. The Eisenhower, 53 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, outbound 37. Stevenson, 55 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 36. Ryan is 19 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State delays. Southwest Highway to 75th, from the Stevenson to 47th, and from the Reagan's all the way to the Grand Avenue curve. Traffic service of The Brave on NBC. America's favorite singing competition. Emmy winner The Voice is back. Superstar coaches Adam Levine, Blake Shelton, and Miley Cyrus, plus new coach, Grammy and Academy Award winner Jennifer Hudson. The Voice blind auditions start tonight, followed by the premiere of The Brave on NBC. Traffic answers when you need them most. Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Sunshine, another day of record-breaking temperatures. High near 92, currently 69. Your next news update is at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Financial Planning with Jack Taboda, your 401k rollover specialist. Heard Saturday mornings at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
Joe Walsh here. Looks like the Republican health care plan is going down again. I got an idea. Why don't they just repeal Obamacare? Repeal the whole damn thing. Freedom returns at 5.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. We'll get back to the culture war as the battlefront in sports has expanded over the weekend. But
and talk about the NBA, too.
Well, right, and we'll have Steve Ashburner, a senior writer for NBA.com, at the top of the 7 o'clock hour to talk about Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors not going to the White House. But we got to update you on Graham Cassidy, too, because just when you thought it was all going to come down to Lisa Murkowski, senator from Alaska, you've had an important defection. Guess who?
Let me guess. Wait. Does it start with McCain?
Obamacare Republican John McCain releasing a statement saying he cannot, in good conscience, support Graham Cassidy because of the process.
He said he wants a bipartisan.
It ought to be the product of regular order in the Senate. Committees of jurisdiction should mark up legislation with all input from committee members and blah, 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 blah. That's the argument that he's using in the statement that he released. I cannot in good conscience vote for the Graham Cassidy proposal. I believe we could do better working together and all of that. And so you've got McCain, who's a no. You got Susan Collins, who's a no, and you got Rand Paul, who's a no. Ted Cruz is saying,
what is he saying?
He's still saying, I'm not supporting it yet. I think Ted Cruz gets there, particularly if he was the 50th vote. But when it comes to McCain, Collins, and Paul, I think you got a problem.
And Susan Collins on the talkies on Sunday morning.
It's very difficult for me to envision a scenario where I would end up voting for this bill. I have a number of serious reservations about it. I'm concerned about the impact on the Medicaid program, which has been on the books for more than 50 years and provides health care to our most vulnerable citizens, including disabled children and low-income seniors. I'm concerned about the impact on costs and coverage. We already have a problem under the Affordable Care Act with the cost of premiums and deductibles. And finally, I'm very concerned about the erosion of protections for people with pre-existing conditions like asthma, arthritis, cancer, diabetes, and what it would mean to them.
Is that Susan Collins or is that Katharine Hepburn from On Golden Pond?
Will you stop? No, too soon. You
I'm
can't.
not.
No, I know.
I'm not sure.
Is she okay?
When it comes to McCain, I mean, Collins at least has been a consistent opponent.
Yeah.
So, if you like your Susan Collins, you can keep her up there in Maine, but she's consistently been a Obamacare Republican. McCain has not been. McCain has been fork-tongued on the topic. And a good piece by Liz Peek at Fox News over the weekend details why McCain's defection on health care is inexcusable for his constituents in Arizona. And she points out, why Arizona Governor Doug Ducey supports the bill. Last year, Arizona, the biggest average rate increase in the country. Premiums in Phoenix up by 145% on average. And now McCain is on the cusp of, for a second time, tubing anything resembling at least a partial replace of Obamacare and devolving the resources and thus more of the responsibilities to the state. It would also, it's also estimated that that Arizona would be a winner with respect to the amount of federal support. Liz Peek gives an example of what's happening in Arizona. Leslie Rycroft of Scottsdale paying $1,100 a month for a United Healthcare plan.
Oof.
With a $13,000 deductible for her family of four.
How could you even afford that?
Well, she's right. She can. I mean, you have insurance with no insurance, right? I mean, effectively.
They got to get rid of the mandate.
And so but what happened, right, so what happened in Arizona is what's happened everywhere. Insurers pulled out of the market because they were getting hammered. They couldn't make money. They just stopped offering their product. So you've got McCain, you've got McCain in particular, Collins, Rand Paul kind of built in. Rand Paul was on Meet the Press over the weekend, and he made the argument he just doesn't like the block granting to the states. He thinks that's sort of a race to the bottom.
Well, I've always been a yes for repeal, but the bill, unfortunately, the Graham-Cassidy bill, basically keeps most of the Obamacare, almost all of the spending, and just reshuffles it and block grants it to the states. So I don't think block granting Obamacare doesn't make it go away. It just means you're keeping all the money we've been spending through Obamacare, most of it, reshuffling it, taking the money from Democrat states and giving it to Republican states. I think what it sets up is a perpetual food fight over the formula. What happens when the Democrats win? They're going to try to claw back that money from Republican states and give it to Democrat states. This is a bad idea. It's not repeal. However, all that being said, if they narrow the focus to the things we all agree on, expanding health savings accounts, giving governors more freedom through waivers, slowing down the rate of growth of an outrageous or out-of-control entitlement spending, sure, I'd be for that. But I'm just not for this block granting concept because, to me, that is an affirmative vote that I've agreed to keep Obamacare.
By the way, a related note, guess who was Henry Higgins to Jimmy Kimmel's Eliza Doolittle when it comes to all of his propagandizing about Obamacare, about Graham Cassidy, and about health care in general last week on a show?
Hillary Clinton.
Pagliacci.
Really?
Chuck Schumer. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer's office offered Jimmy Kimmel what they describe as technical guidance, quote unquote, to assist the talk show host in his recent attempts to repeal and replace Obamacare.
You know, because he said the same thing 3 nights in a row.
Those harangues from last week, yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Chuck Schumer. Jimmy wanted to learn more about what was going on politically and policy-wise, said one source who spoke to the Daily Beast, and he wanted to fight this thing. So, of course, you want to fight this thing, and you want an even-handed description of what's going on, the issues at bar, what's in the legislation, what isn't, what the implications of the component parts of the legislation are, and what they are not. You go to Chuck Schumer,
right.
a neutral voice, a policy wonk, an uninterested party just trying to lay out the facts for an ill-informed talk show host. Isn't that nice?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that nice when everybody can get together like that?
And on an ancillary issue, Senator McCain was on 60 Minutes last night. I don't know if you saw it, but they asked him, Leslie Stahl asked him about his prognosis. He said that the prognosis is very, very serious. Some say 3%, some say 14%. It's a very poor prognosis. So I just said, I understand. Now we're going to do what we can, get the best doctors we can find, and do the best we can, and at the same time celebrate with gratitude a life well lived. So it was
Okay. And
just saying, I don't think he has much time left.
Well, I don't know, and I hope he does. I hope he does. That's not the issue. The issue
No.
is what he does as a United States Senator and what he does consistent with what he said he would do when he was preening in his reelection fight, including when he faced a primary, about being part of the vanguard to repeal and replace Obamacare. And now he's tubing it at every turn. That's the problem.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Coming up next, Hillary Clinton has a message for white woman. Where the white woman at? I love that drop. But today...
You do a great Cleavon Little.
Thank you. I love my Cleavon Little. Record-breaking heat continues. It's got to stop soon, right? Please. The heat and humidity. A high today of 92 degrees will break a record set back in 1933. And then tomorrow, partly sunny with temperatures tying the record from 1998. A high of 90 degrees. But then we're going to have a break on Wednesday, thank goodness. Temperatures back to normal in the 70s on Wednesday. Let's get into our alarm detection systems traffic center. A man who's chomping at the bit to tell us the travel times. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Good morning, Amy and Dan. Eastbound Adams Tollway, it's jammed from the Tri-State onto the Kennedy. Those delays continue to around Foster, and then more delays. Madison to the Circle, 32 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. Outbound, this being a Monday morning, an hour and 4 minutes downtown to O'Hare. Just 24 minutes to get to Montrose. Eden's 26 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose. Outbound 23 minutes. The Eisenhower looking at 53 minutes. Thorndale to downtown. Outbound 37. Stevenson 58 minutes. 3:55 to the drive. Outbound 36. The Ryan 19 minutes. 95th to downtown. I-57 33 minutes. I-80 to the Merge. Bishop Ford 23. Northbound Tri-State. It's stop and go now from Harlem to 47th. After the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Indiana Toll Road westbound after State Road 49. The right lane remains blocked after a major crash last night. Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Walmart testing in-home deliveries. Solar panel tariffs may set off a trade war with China. Those stories next. Are you being intimidated by the IRS? Rapid Resolution Tax Group is a team of tax attorneys, enrolled agents, and tax professionals who've helped thousands of people with problems just like yours, and they promise not to let the IRS intimidate you. If you are an individual or business who owes at least $10,000 to the IRS, you can turn to them for help. Has your bank account been levied? Do you have years of unfiled tax returns? Let Rapid Resolution Tax Group intervene for you. They're accredited with and A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and they guarantee same-day contact with the IRS. If you qualify, Rapid Resolution Tax Group can work towards settling your tax debt for less, removing penalties and fees, and stopping levies and garnishments. Call the professionals at Rapid Resolution Tax Group at 800-601-2929. That's 800-601-2929. America's retail battles are ramping up again. Walmart wants to walk into your home when you're not there and drop off some packages to put groceries in the refrigerator. That's a program. It's beta testing a new service that would let the delivery person into your home. Testing underway with a small group of tech-savvy shoppers in Silicon Valley. A unanimous vote by a trade panel has declared that low-cost solar panels imported from China have caused serious injury to solar panel makers in this country. That could prompt the imposition of tariffs here that would double the price of imported solar panels, and that just might set off a trade war with China. President Trump has until January to make a decision. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Upstream-ideas.com, premium content that complements what we do on this show. It's our digital platform with original long-form interviews in our Against the Current series. This week we'll feature Professor Jason Hill from DePaul talking about race relations in America, Heart of the Matter, which is our new series featuring women, professional women, speaking collegially about the issues of the day. This week featuring a a forum with Raquel Mitchell and Babette Holder on race relations in America. That seems to be the topic du jour. My 60 Seconds of Sanity commentaries this week on the Indian Princess, Senator Pocahontas. 2-minute warnings from Pat Hughes, the Illinois Opportunity Project, podcast for Illinois Rising program covering state policy and politics, and our sister site, defendhomeowners.com. Defendhomeowners.com, free property tax report on your home. All of the contextual information you need to understand what's happening to your home in Illinois, where you pay the highest property taxes in the nation. You want to check that out. Defendhomeowners.com, upstream-ideas.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I used to take 7 vitamin supplements, and I still felt sluggish at times. But with Balance of Nature, I don't feel sluggish at all. Don't do what I did. I took 7 different supplements, vitamin supplements, and they really didn't help in the long run. I still felt sluggish. But with Balance of Nature, I have the extra boost of energy, and I thank you all again. I really, really mean it.
What are you waiting for? Good health is just a phone call away. Don't miss your opportunity to get a free month supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Call 1-800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code Chicago.
The same banking team you already know and trust at the Private Bank has come together with one of the strongest banks in North America. And we have a new name. The Private Bank is now CIBC. We share the same focus on building strong client relationships, and we're now backed by a bank with over 150 years of experience in putting clients first. Our name may have changed, but our commitment to helping your business grow is now stronger than ever. Visit us at CIBC.com/US. Member FDIC.
What if hiring could be easier, less time-consuming, with more qualified candidates and faster results? What if hiring could be smarter? Thanks to ZipRecruiter, it can be. With one click, post your job to over 100 of the web's leading job boards, so you don't spend time wondering where the right candidates are searching. Then ZipRecruiter uses its smart matching technology to scan millions of active resumes and notify the most qualified candidates to apply for your job. And the ZipRecruiter dashboard makes it easy to review, rate, and contact candidates, all in one place. No wonder 80% of employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site in just one day. ZipRecruiter makes it simple for growing businesses of all sizes to hire the right people, no matter the industry. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
We're so confident ZipRecruiter will get you the results you need. We'll let you try it free. That's right, free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/work. That's ZipRecruiter.com/work. ZipRecruiter.com/work.
There's nothing like it. The smell of a tailgate, the chill in the air, the roar of the crowd. The only thing better than game day with your favorite team is when it all ends with a win. Touchdown NIU. Hear it all right here on the Husky Sports Network.
Your NIU Huskies challenge the San Diego State Aztecs this Saturday night at 9:30. Be here for NIU football on AM 560. The Answer.
Earnings vary based on your effort. Message and data rates may apply.
Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses right here in Chicago? If so, we have an amazing opportunity for you. We're looking for a small group of motivated individuals to join our real estate investing team. You'll learn our simple 3-step system for flipping homes right here in the local area. This is Than Merrill, star of A&E's hit TV show Flip This House. My team and I are looking for a handful of people in the Chicago area who want to learn how to make money flipping houses in your spare time using other people's money. Chicago is a perfect market for my system, and this week I'm holding a free 2-hour educational workshop where you will learn how to make money flipping homes and how to build long-term wealth with income properties.
To get 2 free tickets to Than's workshop, text MONEY to 99,000. Seating is extremely limited. Text MONEY to 99,000 right now because this free ticket offer expires this Friday. Text MONEY to 99,000. That's money to 99,000.
All right, I have to admit it was an eyesore. The chipping and paint peeling on our front and back porch, it looked awful. But thanks to CertaPro painters, the porch looks brand new. The painters who showed up were professional, respectful. They were done in just a few hours, and when they left, the house looked brand new. They really are the best in the business, and it's not too late to book your exterior painting project. There are several spots open on CertaPro's schedule. Here's an idea. Let CertaPro painters transform your home while you're on vacation and return to a freshly painted house. They're celebrating their 25th anniversary this year, and so we invite you to experience the CertaPro difference. For a free estimate, call 1-800-GO-CERTA, CERTA, or visit CertaPro.com. That's Certa with the C. Get that painting project off your to-do list. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated. CertaPro painters, we do painting, you do life.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, I know you want Hillary just to go away, but I don't, because she is a gift that keeps on giving in terms of stoking the revolt.
What has she done over the weekend?
Hillary Clinton sat down for a little interview with Joy Reid. There's Joy Reid again.
Again.
She's everywhere. And this is what she had to say about you white women.
The second level is when I see women, and look, it's predominantly white women. Let's just be clear about that. I won women. I lost white women, although I got more white women's votes than President Obama did in 2012. So this is an ongoing challenge. But when I see women doing that, I think, why are they publicly disrespecting themselves?
That's white women supporting Donald Trump, or any women, but particularly white women supporting Donald Trump. You're publicly disrespecting yourselves, says Hillary Clinton, the author of the vast right-wing conspiracy to provide a cover story for her philandering husband. But you're the ones publicly disrespecting yourselves, you Trump-supporting women. Got it? Okay. Thank you, Hillary.
I'm going to process that before I respond. Oh, my gosh. But coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Speaking of that era in politics, Stevie Wonder goes down on two knees, and that's the most celebrated example of that since, by the left, since Monica Lewinsky did the same 25 years ago.
And not only did President Trump challenge the NFL, but the NBA invitation declined. We'll have Stephen Ashburner from the NBA.com with the reaction. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, here are the stories we're watching. Chicago setting a record high temp for a fifth day in a row. 3 dead and 34 wounded in Chicago area shootings. Funeral services are tentatively set for Kanika Jenkins, and the Bears stun the Steelers in OT. WIND Chicago News Time, 7.
He's tweeting about it again. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. President Trump writes, many fans who demand respect for the flag booed the NFL players who kneeled yesterday. Some 200 either took a knee or sat.
This has nothing to do with race or anything else. This has to do with respect for our country and respect for our flag.
That was the president yesterday. His calling players who kneeled during the anthem SOBs led to the expanded NFL protest. Some teams stood locked arm in arm. Others stayed in a locker room like Pittsburgh. Coach Mike Tomlin said,
they were not going to be disrespectful in the anthem, so they chose not to participate. But at the same time, many of them were not going to accept the words of the president.
One Steeler, a former Army Ranger, did come out alone and stand. President Trump's ordered a new revised travel ban now that his much criticized last one expired. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
The new executive order continues existing restrictions against Iran, Libya, Somalia, Syria, and Yemen, and it adds new ones for Chad, North Korea, and Venezuela. In announcing the new travel ban, the president said in a statement, I must act to protect the security and interests of the United States and its people. Two groups that are challenging the earlier version of the policy at the Supreme Court said they still see the restrictions as targeting Muslims. The High Court is scheduled to hear arguments on October 10th on the earlier ban, which was scheduled to expire yesterday. Dave?
John, people are supposed to be leaving Ocracoke Island on North Carolina's Outer Banks under a mandatory evacuation this morning as Hurricane Maria approaches. It's expected to brush past the coast this week, while Puerto Ricans remain in misery after taking a direct hit.
They have no electricity. They need electricity to pump water, so they have no water. They are waiting online for gasoline for up to 6 to 8 hours just to buy $20 worth of gas.
Fox's Geraldo Rivera in San Juan, where many people also still have no phone service or access to cash. Fox News, fair and balanced.
This morning we have mostly clear skies, 68 degrees at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. A record-breaking The streak of hot weather continues in Chicago. National Weather Service says temps reached 93 yesterday, breaking the record of 91. A Melrose Park man accused of killing his ex-girlfriend and 4-year-old son last week in Stone Park is due in bond court today. Daniel Barraza is charged with the murders of Marion Hurtado and Corbin Barraza. Both were found dead late last week in Hurtado's Stone Park home. Here in Chicago yesterday, Steelers coach Mike Tomlin says the team, the Steelers, is not going to play politics, but Tomlin did keep his players in the locker room during the national anthem yesterday before a game at Soldier Field.
No, it wasn't my decision. Like most teams in the National Football League, we didn't ask for this. This was placed upon us by circumstance. I heard rumblings of guys talking during the course of the day yesterday. My contention was that we will not allow politics to divide us with football players, with football team.
Tomlin saying the team was not being disrespectful, but wanted to be removed from that situation. After 2 years of buildup, disgraced former Congressman Mel Reynolds preparing to defend himself at trial beginning later today, where he may find himself questioning prominent Chicagoans under oath. Reynolds faces 4 counts alleging he failed to turn in tax returns in 2009, 10, 11, and 12. By the way, the case could shed some light on efforts by some of former President Barack Obama's political backers and inner circle who were trying to land lucrative business ventures in Zimbabwe. Bears stunned the Steelers 23-17 at Soldier Field. Jose Quintana, a complete game shutout. Cubs blanked the Brewers 5-0 in Miller Park. Avisail Garcia, a 2-run home run. White Sox never looked back with an 8-1 win over the Royals. The News is a service of The Brave on NBC, America's favorite singing competition. Emmy winner The Voice back with superstar coaches Adam Levine, Blake Shelton, Miley Cyrus, and new coach, Grammy and Academy Award winner Jennifer Hudson. The Voice blind auditions start tonight, followed by the premiere of The Brave on NBC. 7:04, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity finally puts the Russia story to bed.
We've been looking at this and investigating this. With all the thousands of media hours, all the barrels of ink that have been used, all of the articles online, there's no evidence of Trump, Russia, election collusion. What if they now show that it was never Russia?
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans. Every day people ask me, Jay, did I miss out? Have the rates gone up? The answer is no. Rates are still low, and it's a perfect time to refinance your home, especially if your mortgage rate is higher than 4.25%. If you'd like to lower your interest rate and save thousands of dollars in interest without starting over on a new 30-year loan, a Quicken Loans Yorgage is what you're looking for. With our exclusive Yorgage, you can choose a term that works best for you, anywhere from 8 to 30 years. The rate today on an 8-year Yorgage is 3.25%, APR 3.67%. For 7 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation for customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. And for the 4th year in a row, they've also ranked us highest in the nation for mortgage servicing. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to QuickenLoans.com. That's 800-QUICKEN.
For J.D. Power award information, visit jdpower.com. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
7:06 and a check of the morning commute in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. On the inbound Kennedy Expressway, delays start before the River Road toll and continue all the way to the Bird Circle. 46 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 24 from Montrose, 19 to the Express. Outbound 35 minutes to Montrose, an hour and 8 minutes to O'Hare. Eden's 26 minutes, Lake Cook Junction, outbound 24. The Eisenhower's an hour and 10-minute drive. Thorndale to the post office, 51 minutes from Manheim, outbound 37 to Thorndale. Stevenson, 58 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 36. The Ryan, 20 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 23 minutes. Make that 33 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Bishop Ford, 25. Lakeshore Drive still okay. Southbound Tri-State, heavy 120 to 176. Northbound Harlem to 47. That's from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Adams and Reagan Tollways are okay. Veterans Memorial, delays are northbound, Boughton to the Reagan Tollway, and Butterfield to Roosevelt. See delays on northbound I-65, Ridge Road to past 8094, where a crash blocks the left lane. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast with meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
A mostly sunny day today with a high 90, then a partly cloudy night with a low 68. Tomorrow, partial sunshine, high 90, then becoming mostly cloudy. Tomorrow night with a late night shower in spots, low 61. Sun and patchy clouds Wednesday, high 73. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
71 officially at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Turnkey IT, giving you the freedom to focus on your business while they handle the technical stuff. Turnkey IT.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. A lot of social media activity and a lot of calls so far this morning about the culture war as it is being prosecuted in football and basketball. An example, Colin Kaepernick, Dr. Roosevelt, tweeting us. Recall that Kaepernick wore those police pig socks, but Goodell prevented football players from honoring the slain Dallas police officers. So, in terms of politics and sports, the intersection, yeah, it happens. And sports isn't insulated from the outside world. And that's why it's a legitimate discussion to talk about the politicization of football, the politicization of sports, when it started, the nature of it, what is being honored and what is being disrespected.
Well, certain tragedy. Sandy Hook. I remember it being at a Cubs game. We had a moment of silence for all the Sandy Hook victims. But then you had the 5 police officers slain, and there wasn't a moment of silence. So who decides what we honor and what we don't?
Well, and what a society extols, it begets. So this has real implication. Yeah, I understand the argument. People are, I don't pay any attention. I don't care about sports. I don't care about football. That's fine. You can not care. But sports, I get the whole, the bread and circuses for the hoi polloi that goes back to the days of Juvenile. I get it. But to pretend that sports isn't an integral part of culture and doesn't have enormous sway over the direction of our culture is to bury your head in the sand. And I don't think we want to do that either. In fact, according to celebrities like Stevie Wonder, don't just take one knee. Take 2 knees for America.
Tonight, I'm taking a knee for America. But not just one knee. I'm taking both knees.
Wow.
I hope you had knee pads on.
Yeah, 2 knees.
Both knees in prayer for our planet, our future, our leaders of the world, and our globe.
That's noted climatologist Stevie Wonder, who apparently also sings songs.
Yes.
So it just gives you a little sense of Hollywood. And then the controversy, we've talked a lot about the NFL. What about the NBA? Golden State Warriors, NBA champs, Steph Curry, the face of the Golden State Warriors, and frankly, face of the NBA, along with LeBron James right now. He made noise that he wasn't maybe so interested in going. So President Trump rescinded the invitation for the Golden State Warriors to come to D.C.
Yeah. And he did it via a tweet saying going to the White House is considered a great honor for a championship team. Stephen Curry is hesitating. Therefore, invitation is withdrawn, !
And then Steph Curry reacted to the withdrawal of that invitation.
It's surreal, to be honest. I don't know, why he feels the need to target certain individuals, rather than others. I have an idea of why, but it's kind of it's just kind of beneath, I think, a leader of a country to go that route. It's not what leaders do.
Mm-hmm. Do leaders insinuate racism where none exists, Steph?
I don't care what Trump said about the NFL. I kind of agree with that. But going after Stephen Curry and disinviting him, I thought was just childish and stupid. He should not have gotten involved in that. He was on a tweeter maniac fest this whole weekend.
It's his invitation. So
I know,
he's by
but
definition
there's always players
involved.
who don't go. Jake Arrieta didn't go because he's a Republican. He didn't like President Obama, so he didn't go.
Yeah.
That's fine, but to disinvite the team, it's a little childish.
Paul Marengoff over at Powerline Blog, I think, has it right. Steph Curry trying to have it both ways. Withdrawing the invitation was the right thing to do, I think, writes Mr. Marengoff. I think the Warriors, or at least the core players and their coach, didn't really want to go. If the team had taken a vote, it was contemplated, it probably would have caused internal division. Meanwhile, Trump didn't want to suffer the indignity of having his invitation rejected outright. The solution, pull the invitation. He goes on to say, look, I agree the U.S. president shouldn't get involved in these, back and forth contests with celebrities, athletes, and the like, but Curry's being disingenuous. Trump targeted him because he's the face of the Golden State Warriors, not because he's black, as Steph Curry seemed to be intimating. For more on this topic and the larger issue of the state of play in professional sports, we're pleased to be joined by Steve Ashburner. He is a senior writer for NBA.com. Steve, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, good morning, guys. Thanks for having me on.
So what do you make of the Golden State Warriors controversy and what the president decided and how Steph Curry reacted?
Well, it starts, I guess. Well, it didn't start. It started with Kevin Durant saying he didn't want to go to the White House. He was the newest star member of the Warriors, and is considered now almost as much the face of that team as Curry. And then Curry, when asked about it, was basically he was hesitating. He was indicating that they were going to vote on it, and he hadn't made up his mind. But it was fairly clear the Warriors they were going to decide not to go. There's no way that Kevin Durant's no and Curry's I don't know, that wasn't going to get outvoted by role players on that team.
Right.
So then you throwing around his exclamation points and making it focused on one guy, and you end up where we're at. Now I agree that the trying to play it both ways. They want to. It sort of became I'm going to break up with you before you break up with me kind of.
Yeah, right.
And they want to feel snubbed, even though they were going to snub. So I almost want to see the White House get out of the championship team visits until, if ever, we sort of tamp down this fever pitch that sports has become regarding politics.
But, Steve, there's always a player who decides not to go, whether it be football or baseball or basketball, right?
It's often happened, in my understanding. And let's not forget, too, that there was a former Chicago Bull named Craig Hodges who felt that he got blackballed from the NBA when he wore a dashiki,
yeah, right.
And wanted to raise some issues on, when he went with the Jordan Pippen era Bulls. And that's been fine, but now, the times have moved along, and now everything has to be a show of unity. There are no individual decisions made. You're either with us or you're against us. And, that it was going to become a team thing. As I understand it, the Cubs went twice, right? They went at the very end of President Obama's tenure, and they went in the spring when they went to Washington with Donald Trump in the White House.
But they went twice just because they'll never win another World Series. So they got kind of two bites at the apple.
It.
That's kind of a unique situation there.
Oh, right. It's an anomaly. It doesn't happen.
That's right. Well, let me ask this. You've been a sports writer for a long time. How has the nature of your profession changed? Because we did a little look at one of my publications at the political affiliation, effectively by voting patterns, of 57 Chicago area sports journalists. And we heard over the weekend in The Score, Steve Rosenblum, a Tribune sports columnist, calling President Trump the fecal matter-in-chief, and Hub Arkush, Pro Football Weekly, saying he's a degenerative douchebag. And you've, of course, what's happened at ESPN with Jameel Hill and apologizing for having a live fantasy football draft that some people called a slave auction. So ESPN apologizes. The direct and purposeful shift left by ESPN, and then just the nature of sports journalism, which not dissimilar to news, political journalism, seems to be dominated by people with a particular worldview and how that informs their coverage of sports when sports does intersect with politics.
Yeah, well, there's a lot to unpack. I mean, I don't feel like the nature of my profession has changed. I do feel like the profession has changed and how it's practiced. I don't think what we should be doing is any different, but what we're seeing done is a lot different. And I think there's a couple of reasons. I mean, obviously, politics is swamping a lot of things that it used to sort of consider off limits or areas that would fend it off and really didn't have to go there. I happen to think sports is best as a DMZ, a demilitarized zone, because, it's one of those rare areas in our culture that might bring people of different stripes together. You might be sitting, cheek to cheek with a guy who's 180 degrees from you at a ball game, and just those few hours might be as much exposure as you get to someone from the other side.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's a good thing to bring those people together. So if it becomes this is our sport and this is not your sport, and then other people want to take their wallets and go home, I don't think that that's a good thing. In terms of, sports media, I mean, let's be clear. A lot of people in sports media have a little bit of guilt that they're really not covering anything that's really that important. And we're the first people that we fill out our tax forms every year in occupation. Instead of putting sports writer, we'll put journalist. Mm-hmm. And you puff up a little bit. And people now in sports can puff up without. I mean, they don't have the first level of resistance. I mean, it goes on. It's obviously going on news sides. But if you're not covering politics, if you are covering politics, then someone will say, well, wait a minute now. You're not attending to both sides. You're a sports person. That really doesn't come up. You don't feel the pushback. You're just sort of free to, go in whatever way your emotions take you. And I think there's a lot of that involved here, too.
See, it's hard for me to hate Steph Curry because he always brings his Bible to the game. He's a devout Christian. On the shoes, he said, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And
that's talking about hating Steph Curry, though. You disagree. You don't hate. I don't hate Steph Curry. I disagree with him.
But I've always been a big fan of his, and I think that the players and the fans are going to side with him on this one by not, going to the White House.
Well, I'll tell you, one thing. I mean, people forget that sports, in a lot of ways, pushes back against this stuff. In that, sports is a lot about leadership. Sports is. We've all sort of accepted that sports is one of the few pure meritocracies left, right? Where, you're not hired because you're somebody's, country club buddy or because of any particular racial or ethnic background. You're hired and paid well because you can do the job. And people wonder whether crony capitalism or, affirmative action, they don't really raise their heads in sports. And, I think it really is blowing an opportunity. And I flash back to Michael Jordan, and I know there's been some controversy over whether he said it quite this way, but the old idea that Republicans buy sneakers too.
Yeah.
And do they really want to thumb their nose at 50% of the customer base?
Well, right. I mean, that the year-over-year decline in viewership for the NFL, and that's before everything that's happened over the last 72 to 96 hours. And also just even the posture that Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors are taking. I mean, there is residual detriment to that. And so, I mean, these certain guys are insulated no matter what. If the league folded tomorrow, they've still got tens, hundreds of millions of dollars, so they're insulated from it. But it does really tear asunder the foundation of sports, and it makes sports a front in the culture war. And I'm not sure that the owners and a lot of the players really understand the implications of what they're doing, particularly with what happened in the NFL yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, my thing with the NFL, it's like twofold. First off, I mean, I saw a stat this morning that 23% of the players didn't participate in the anthem if you count kneeling and sitting along with those who weren't out on the field for the anthems. That's 23%. When they get to 100%, let's say it's next week, what's next? What has to happen to get them up off their knees? There's no plan that I've really heard or seen in terms of talking with law enforcement agencies having the facts and the data of what they're actually protesting. I don't know what's next. The other thing is if I was learned in journalism, if you say or do A, and your audience, hears and sees B, the audience isn't wrong. So if people are seeing disrespect to America and the flag, and you're trying to, tell them something about, police encounters and racial inequality within those, there's a disconnect there, and somebody needs to polish their message a lot better.
Yeah, well, you bring up a good point. What do they want? What's the response? How do we remedy the whatever you're protesting? And in point of fact, this is all just virtue signaling, and now it's really just focused on standing up to President Trump, even though all of this predates President Trump. But that's the way they're kind of trying to shift the focus and the discussion. It's us versus Trump, who's not necessarily popular. But really, what the fans are saying is it's us versus you.
Yeah. I mean, that's the divide that's taking place, and it could get greater, could get wider. And I think that some things will be lost. I mean, sports isn't important, except it is an opportunity for, like I mentioned, some of those things, lessons, and sort of a coming together of people you wouldn't normally be around, and it could get lost. Ultimately, there's a financial stake involved, but I'm not even thinking that far down the road. The NFL seems like the 800-pound gorilla that will weather pretty much anything.
Yeah.
And it has its own issues that has turned off fans in terms of brain trauma injuries and things like that. So, if they're picking a side here, I'm a little surprised that as an employer, the NFL and its teams have gone here in the sense that if you walk into a restaurant, you want the waiter to talk to you for 30 seconds or a minute about his political views before he hands you a menu. I don't know how many people would tolerate that. And I just think that when you're in uniform on the clock, keep that for your personal time. But that's not good enough these days because you have to use the soapbox that the media gives you.
He is, and oh, by the way, a lot of big corporations were big until they weren't. Steve Ashburner, he is senior writer for NBA.com. Steve, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
All right, guys, thanks.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up later, today is National One Hit Wonder Day. What's your favorite one-hit wonder song? But first, let's go into here's your forecast. Plenty of heat and humidity today and tomorrow. Highs in the 90s. Yet again, it's going to be humid out there. Plenty of sunshine. And then Wednesday, we finally catch a break. Sunny, cooler, a high of 74 degrees. Let's get into our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy and Dan. Southeast side, Baltimore Avenue is blocked between 91st and 92nd. There's a transformer pulled down with wires over vehicles. Edens, 26 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 28. The Kennedy, 58 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound an hour and 4 minutes to O'Hare. The Eisenhower's an hour and 14 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, outbound 38 minutes. Stevenson, 58 minutes, 3:55 to the drive, outbound 36. The Ryan, 20 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tri-State southbound slow, 120 to 176. Northbound, Southwest Highway to the Hinsdale Oasis, and from the Reagan slow to North Avenue. Veterans Memorial delays. Northbound from Fountain Most to the Dwight Roosevelt. Northbound I-65 is heavy. Bridge to past 8094 crash. Left lane. Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
If you're familiar with cloud computing, you probably know that Amazon Web Services offers a complete set of secure compute, storage, application, and deployment services that help companies launch and scale their IT infrastructures while lowering costs. But did you know that you're still responsible for protecting your own AWS-based assets, meaning your applications and data, from advanced cyber threats? Protect your AWS with Barracuda Network's advanced firewall solutions. Visit AWS Marketplace or barracuda.com/AWS to learn more.
Upstream-ideas.com, premium content that complements what we do on this show. Long-form interviews are Against the Current series. Podcast, Illinois Rising, covering state policy and politics. New Heart of the Matter episode this week with Jody Carroll sitting down with Raquel Mitchell and Babette Holder to talk about race relations and racial politics. 2-minute warnings from Pat Hughes at Illinois Opportunity Project. My 60 Seconds of Sanity commentaries this week on Senator Pocahontas and her resistance to being characterized as a one-percenter. And our sister site, defendhomeowners.com, defendhomeowners.com, free property tax report on your home, paying the highest property taxes in the nation here in Illinois, the implications of it, the contextual information you need to be informed as to what's happening to your home value and why. You can find it all at defendhomeowners.com and upstream-ideas.com.
My name is David Hochberg, Vice President Lending at Pearl Mortgage. If you're looking to secure financing on a new home or refinance your existing home, give me a call. If you're purchasing a home within the next year, this is very important. Your credit score is the most important factor in determining your interest rate and monthly payments. I strongly advise listeners purchasing a home to contact me as far in advance as possible so I can pre-qualify you for free. I will analyze your credit and make recommendations to improve your credit scores so you can secure the lowest rate when purchasing a home. Paying banks and other lenders a fee to get pre-qualified is ridiculous. If you're purchasing a home, give me a call now at 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com and get pre-qualified for free. I've helped thousands of AM560 listeners, but I can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage, an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee 4358 and MLS 19186.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Jim Durkin, founding partner of the Martech Group, a global market research firm based in Chicago since 1985 and a longtime customer of Signature Bank. When our business moved to our current Loop location, I recall seeing Mick O'Rourke and his two business partners, Brian Duncan and Kevin Vestuga, laying the foundation for Signature Bank. When Signature opened its doors in 2006, I was proud to move our accounts there and become a shareholder. Being in the consulting business, the Martech Group has a keen understanding of the value of relationships, trust, and attentiveness. Whether dealing with our U.S. practice or our international operations, Signature Bank is always there when we need them. That's why the Martech Group is proud to have Signature Bank as a valued business partner.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
As the head of procurement for my company, I was sweating a big deadline and got tired of calling my printer for updates, only to hear excuses. So I heard about McGrath Printing Custom Apparel and gave them a call. I got A+ service, and they beat the deadline. McGrath Printing really saved my...
I'm a supply chain manager for a Fortune 500 company, and we had $50,000 of product waiting for instruction manuals because our printer couldn't deliver on time. One call to McGrath Printing Custom Apparel, and they saved my...
At McGrath Printing Custom Apparel, they've been saving companies for over 35 years. Give them a call at 815-356-5246. That's 815-356-5246. And mention code AM560 and get 20% off your first order. So remember,
go to where the pros go. McGrathPrint.com. McGrathPrint.com.
AM560, The Answer.
For 3 nights only, the movie Mully is coming to a theater near you. Mully is the true story of Charles Mully, who... It's a remarkable story. It brings tears to your eyes, actually, if you watch it. He was an orphan, and he became one of the richest men in the world, but sold everything off to help those less fortunate. I mean, it really, it's a powerful example of 100% private market solution to poverty, and it shows about God's strength and God's love. It's a wonderful movie. It's a documentary about an hour and a half long, and it's well shot. It's it'll warm your heart, and it is coming to a theater near you October 3rd, October 4th, and October 5th. Buy tickets now at mullymovie.com. That's mullymovie.com, and it's guaranteed to inspire you. And if not, the filmmakers at For Good and Focus on the Family will refund your money, no questions asked. So again, go to mullymovie.com. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Should Congress strip the NFL of its tax-exempt status? At 7:37.
But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
71 degrees, mostly sunny skies. Record-breaking hot weather continues to hit Chicagoland. 93 yesterday, breaking the high of 91. President Trump is out with a new travel ban that adds 3 countries. Trump issuing the executive order yesterday, the president adding North Korea, Venezuela, and Chad to 5 mostly Muslim nations covered by an order that is about to expire. 17 ISIS fighters in Libya are dead after a series of U.S. airstrikes led by 2 B-2 bombers dropping 100 precision-guided munitions on a desert camp last Friday, the first set of American strikes in Libya since President Trump assumed office. British counter-terror officials are rounding up another suspect in the London subway bombing, arresting a 20-year-old man in the Welsh capital of Cardiff. The suspected gunman in the deadly Nashville area church shooting is being held without bond. Emmanuel Sampson is charged with murder after killing a woman and hurting 6 others. Authorities in Mexico say the death toll from last week's powerful earthquake now is at 319. A couple of business notes we're following. Target giving its workers a raise. The retail chain announcing today it's raising its hourly minimum to $11 an hour starting next month. Walmart wants to fill your fridge and your pantry even when you're not home. The world's biggest retailer is testing a delivery program that lets customers use smart home technology to remotely open the door for delivery drivers who then stock and put away groceries. A Melrose Park man accused of killing his ex-girlfriend and 4-year-old son last week in Stone Park is due in bond court today. We're tracking the trial of Daniel Barraza, who's charged in those murders. No one hurt after a fire at an ice arena in Geneva. The blaze broke out yesterday morning in a compressor room at the Fox Valley Ice Arena. Barbara Blaine, the founder and former president of Survivors Network of Those Abused by Priests, has died. The organization known as SNAP announced that Blaine died Sunday following a recent cardiac event at the age of 61. Bears stunned the Steelers in OT at Soldier Field, 23-17. Cubs over the Brewers, 5-0. White Sox beat the Royals, 8-1. The news, a service of Jewel Osco. Shop Jewel Osco for Washington Honeycrisp apples, only $2.49 a pound. Buy 1 package of Purdue boneless, skinless chicken breast, thin sliced or tenders. Get another one free. You can also double up on 24-ounce Brownberry Country Classic or whole grain breads. 7:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The founder of Black Lives Matter said white racist hate speech is not free speech.
The Joe Walsh Show.
Again, somebody stupid on the left, not understanding our Constitution, not understanding the First Amendment. Hate speech is protected.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Right now with Galaxy. Buy 1 cabinet, get 1 free. Visit us online at GalaxyHome.com to schedule your free in-home estimate. Save an additional $500 when you book right now.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I love it. I see a tremendous difference in my skin, in my nails, in my hair, in my energy.
Unlike the people that I hear on the radio, you know, I've had vitamins before, but this is makes a much bigger difference than vitamins ever did. That's for sure.
What are you waiting for? Good health is just a phone call away. Don't miss your opportunity to get a free month supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Call 1-800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code Chicago. That's balanceofnature.com. Promo code Chicago.
7:36. Let's get an update on the morning commute in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. The Edens runs 26 minutes from Lake Hook to the junction, outbound 28. The Kennedy, an hour and 12 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound an hour and 4 minutes. On Eisenhower, an hour and 14 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, outbound 38 minutes. Stevenson, an hour and 3 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 36 minutes. Ryan, 35 minutes. 95th to downtown. Southbound Tri-State, slow 120 to 176. Northbound Southwest Highway to the Hinsdale Oasis and from the Reagan Toll to North Avenue. Westmont Veterans Memorial. The Fountain of the Reagan Tollway in Butterfield to Roosevelt. Traffic service of The Brave on NBC. America's favorite singing competition. Emmy winner The Voice is back with superstar coaches Adam Levine, Blake Shelton, and Miley Cyrus, plus new coach, Grammy and Academy Award winner Jennifer Hudson. The Voice blind auditions start tonight, followed by the premiere of The Brave on NBC. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Sunny day ahead. Temperatures will likely break the record of 90 set back in 1933. Clear and warm, 68. We have a chance of cooler weather on Wednesday, a high only of 74, but not a lot of rain in the forecast through Friday. 68 at O'Hare, 73 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Goldstone Financial, helping you become financially independent at goldstonefinancialgroup.com.
You want more than just the headlines? Find out what's going on and what it means with me, Dennis Prager, this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. I have a question, and the question is this. You know, the NFL, the NBA, Major League Baseball, these multi-billion-dollar professional sports leagues are tax exempt.
Are you? I did not know that.
You didn't know that? Yeah.
Churches are tax exempt.
501c6 nonprofit organizations.
What?
And the question is, should the NFL, should the Republican-controlled Congress move to strip the NFL and, frankly, other sports leagues, maybe with the exception of like the NCAA, amateur athletics, so professional sports leagues, of their tax-exempt status? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Why should these cartels get any special tax treatment? Wouldn't that be interesting? I'm sure the owners would take notice of that. By the way, this is not just a crazy idea that's never been considered. This is legislation that was previously introduced a couple of times by retiring Representative Jason Chaffetz of Utah, Republican from Utah, a former kicker for BYU.
Really?
Yeah. So what about that? Why not? I mean, the special carve-outs that those individuals get. I mean, I appreciate. I'm a sports fanatic. Always have been. Been fantasy football and baseball and golf and basketball league since I was a toddler.
You're on 12 different fantasy football
Played
teams
sports
too, right?
growing up. Yeah. It's great, but why should they get crony capitalist exemptions any more than any other rent seeker? The NFL is a $10 billion per annum enterprise.
So you're telling me the NBA, NFL,
all the professional
MLB,
sports leagues,
they're tax exempt.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you, and because that's true.
Well, I know, but I mean, who thought that was a good idea?
Well, it's not written in the Constitution.
Yeah,
and so
let's amend the Constitution.
I mean, if you're going to take an antagonistic posture towards our country, which is what you see happening, and it's not, by the way, don't try me with the whole, this is just about Trump. I know they're trying to make it about Trump. They're trying to make it up Trump because that's a cover story.
But Colin Kaepernick took a knee while President Obama was in office.
Correct.
And I think we need to remind people, like Dan Bernstein, of that.
Oh, no, he gets it. Dan Bernstein?
My little guy Dan.
Another score host, the Chicago media. Chicago sports media is providing an echo chamber for virtue signaling know-nothing athletes. Of course they are. They're kindred spirits, and they're just an extension of the Chicago news media. Here's what Dan Bernstein tweeted. Don't let this be watered down into being about quote-unquote unity. It's a vital protest of racist policing and now of a white supremacist president. This is all they have to say. Racist, racist, racist. First Amendment, First Amendment, First Amendment. They just keep rinsing and repeating it because they're ignorant. They understand the nature of neither institution, either the First Amendment or the police. They have no facts. They're just parrots.
Well, I was with Bernstein on Saturday night, and I said, Dan, listen to me. I have to tell you, if Colin Kaepernick were white, President Trump still would have said that. Don't you understand? It's about disrespecting the flag. It's about disrespecting the men and women who put their lives on the line for our freedoms. And that's why I think stand up. And if you don't like it here, Colin Kaepernick, There's a European league, and there's a spot for you as a QB over there. Leave the country. I'm sorry. I don't care about Trump. I just care. This issue has bothered me for a long time when I see somebody disrespecting the flag. I physically, and I know you too, Dan, I physically could not get myself to take a knee during the singing of a national anthem.
Favorite new sport of mine, which I don't understand at all, so I've got some homework to do. NASCAR, Richard Petty Motorsports, Richard Childress Racing, both said that here's Petty. Anybody that doesn't stand up for the anthem ought to be out of the country, period. We got them where they're at, the United States. Childress said protests from his team members would get you a ride on a Greyhound bus. Anybody that works for me should respect the country we live in. So many people gave their lives for it. This was America. And by the way, Dan Bernstein tweeted in response to that, "NAS, who cares?" or something in response to NASCAR.
Really? Does he have any idea what a moneymaker that is and a juggernaut that is?
Very popular.
It's in the South, but there's NASCAR races up here.
I don't understand it, but I'm going to learn.
They go around and around in a truck.
So Dan Bernstein at the Score here in Chicago. You know, if you want to act locally here in Chicago, Bernstein at the Score. Steve Rosenbluth, Tribune sports columnist, who's also at the Score, calls Trump fecal matter in chief on Saturday's show. His show on Saturday, whatever it is. I don't know. I don't listen. I just found out about it. And then Hub Arkush, Pro Football Weekly, calls Trump a degenerative douchebag. Okay, those are your Chicago sports journalists, know-nothings, simpletons, that are just serving as echo chambers for know-nothing, simpleton athletes. And then, again, it's not all athletes. It's not all professional football players. The flip side, of course, is Alejandro Villanueva.
Right. He is an Army Ranger, West Point grad, served 3 tours in Afghanistan. And the players yesterday at the game were in the tunnel, not in the locker room. Well, and you know what he did? He was defiant. He said no, and he walked out and stood outside the tunnel during the singing of the national anthem, put his hand on his heart. And I have to tell you, that was a brilliant moment because all the rest of the Steeler fans, they cheered for him, but they booed the team when they came out on the field. Booed them.
I did
booed
too.
Their own players. It was heartbreaking because I loved the Steelers. I wanted them to win. And then after that, I'm like, go Bears. And it was the best game because karma stinks. You know why the Steelers lost? Because they're pussies.
What?
They are.
Hello.
Except for, no, they are. They should all be, but
well, they are.
wearing
They're
pea hats.
cowards. They are cowards.
That
You're
was
right.
the
They
most.
should have
I had the chills, and I had tears in my eye. Like, you've got to be kidding me that this is going on right now.
So Villanueva protested the protest. He protested his team.
He's won a Bronze Medal of Valor for his work in Afghanistan for saving lives, and God bless that man. And I've got to tell you,
Bronze Star recipient.
Yes, but also
please.
his jersey sale, #1 right now for the Steelers.
Take a couple calls. Verlin on the south side.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Listen, now I want to respond to what you said as far as losing their tax exempt status. I don't think so because they do a lot of good around the not-for-profit around the world, and for inner city youth and people's respective communities, they do a lot of good.
Verlin, so do a lot of other private businesses that have to pay taxes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but they don't represent people the way the NFL does.
Oh, really?
Not like the NFL. It's broadcasted better, where these respective players and the organization goes into communities and really it shines a spotlight on those communities and the good that they're doing. Okay. And they're helping youth go down the right path instead of a lot of them go down the wrong path a lot more than they do if it wasn't for NFL, NBA, and things of that nature. Now, I'm not taking a side as far as them taking knees and stuff like that. I'm from a Gold Star family myself. I got like 4 of my closest members of my family, from grandfather to uncle to auntie, that's in all parts of the armed forces. But what I want to say is, listen, it started with Colin Kaepernick. He's just a weak-minded man. He's the Samson of the Delilah. It's really his woman that's making him do those type of things because he's
not always the way.
So he wasn't even thinking of things like that until he met that woman. Now these people are taking these knees for whatever reason. I feel it's very disrespectful, and I wish they wouldn't do it. The NFL could really put a stop to it by making a rule saying they can't do that, because when I'm at work, I can't take a knee, and I've never been at a job where I could take a knee without being fired. So they can put a stop to it, but since they won't, then they're gonna have to work it out. I don't know how they're gonna work it out. You got a better idea. You say it. I don't know how they're gonna work it out. But
Me neither. I don't know how this is going to end.
Thanks for the call, Verlin. Well,
I mean, really, I don't know how it's going to end unless they stop playing the national anthem. But again, the rule leagues say both teams have to be on the field during the playing of the national anthem.
Well, here's Bob Costas on with Bill Maher, liberal Bob Costas. Here's the Bob Costas solution to the problem.
I think the possible reason is that they recognize that there's some complexity in this, that the anthem doesn't just represent the nation's flaws, or it doesn't just represent the military or the police, as admirable as most policemen are, even given the rogue cops, and as admirable as the sacrifice of the military is, but that it represents the nation's ideals as well. That's what makes this a little bit complicated. Yeah. If I owned a team, which I don't, but if I owned a team, I would have the PA guy say, please stand for our national anthem and in recognition of the ideals it represents. That would then encompass conservative, liberal, and everyone in between. And I think it would make it more palatable.
Yeah, well, you know what Bob Costas is saying there? Well, two things. One is, I mean, our education system has failed if people don't know what the flag and the anthem represent. But number two, he's saying, stand for the anthem.
Yeah.
Respect the flag. That's what he's ultimately saying here. Liberal Bob Costas, that's what he's saying. Make no mistake about it. If he were an owner, that's what he would do, and that's what he's saying. Have an announcement, which by definition means everybody is there to respect the flag and stand for the anthem and honor the country. Interesting. Owen in Willowbrook. Owen.
Hi, Dan and Amy. Trump didn't just call out the players; he called out the owners. He said, "If I was an owner, I'd fire him."
Yeah, right.
Obviously, we don't have leaders like Johnny Wooden, George Steinbrenner. You have disobeyed your rules. You're off the team, and these owners don't have enough guts to stand up to enforce that and support the majority of the fan base that wants to stand and respect the flag. I've had relatives that died in wars that were buried in that flag. Their coffins were covered in that flag. And I'll tell you, I will never watch another NFL game as long as this persists. And if people are too weak-minded to be able to, and I'll tell you this, Dan and Amy, I'm sorry to hear that you guys are punching down to the score representatives.
Yeah, right.
Because they're not even in the class of you guys.
Thanks for the call, Owen.
Thanks, Owen.
Okay.
Thank you. Appreciate that. By the way, just on the tax-exempt status, yeah, I mean, the issue of NFL's tax-exempt status, as I understand it, to be specific, we got a couple emails on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's the league office, not the individual teams that are tax-exempt, but that's still a revocation of the 501c6 status for the league office.
Still millions of dollars.
Which is still germane. Yeah, I mean, Roger Goodell is paid something like $40 million a year.
Right.
Okay, so it's
It's a
material.
big deal when you make that kind of money.
Bob in Buffalo Grove.
Thanks, Amy and Dan, for taking my call. Forget football and basketball. Let me give you an early warning on Chicago's version of March Madness. Late March, early May, about 60 high school students will meet at the University of Illinois, play on their basketball field, but they'll be playing with robots. Before the competition starts, representatives from the 60 teams all sing the national anthem. And we have teams from other countries coming, and those students sing their national anthem. At the last competition, we had a team from Brazil sing their national anthem, and we had a team from Israel sing theirs. So look for it in late March, early May, Chicago's version of March Madness with high school students playing a game with robots.
All right, all the eggheads. All right, got it. Thanks for the call, Bob. Appreciate it. Hey, I respect them. They run the world. Dean in Naperville.
Hey, Dan, Amy, how you doing? You know what they should do is interview the players like they interview the coaches, before the first and the second half. Interview the player right after the national anthem and say, hey, I noticed you didn't stand for the national anthem. Can you tell us why? And watch them go.
Thanks for the call, Dan. Unfortunately, there's so few sports reporters who could actually challenge them to, disassemble them in full public view, which would be a great moment. You're right. Steve and Niles.
Good morning. Listen, these semi-educated draft dodgers, most of them, who got a pre-college education and I'm totally. My country is not the same. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks for the call, Steve. Well, here's the thing, right? So in terms of all the opportunities that have provided both the athletes, the players, also the owners. Shahid Khan, who's the owner of the
Right.
Jacksonville Jaguars.
He stood out there with his players, arm in
Yeah.
arm. A lot of NFL owners did that yesterday.
Shahid Khan is a Pakistani immigrant. Now he's one of the richest men in the world. Pakistani immigrant. Just became a citizen like in 1991, so 25 years ago. He's a 70-year-old man. He went to University of Illinois, got an engineering degree, worked for Flexengate, started his own company, ultimately went back and bought Flexengate, became a leading supplier of auto parts to the big three, and I think the exclusive provider of bumpers to Toyota, and became a multi-billionaire. It's a story, and now he owns the Jacksonville Jaguars, and he owns an English football team too. It's a story that can only happen in America. He's the richest Pakistani in the world, Shahid Khan from U of I, and now the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's a story that can only happen in America. And to his credit, Khan is a proponent of the American dream. And by the way, he donated $1 million to Trump's inauguration. So it's not like he's antagonistic to Trump. But I mean, so I'm not calling out Shahid Khan for standing with his players in solidarity. Okay, fine. I get it. But what are they protesting? The symbol they're protesting is you should think of Shahid Khan when you salute the flag, when you stand and respect the anthem, because his story could only happen in this country. And that's what these, as properly described, coddled, know-nothing, crybaby, simpleton athletes who are the most outspoken, and it's just a fraction of them, admittedly, but the most outspoken, getting the most ink, with the exception of Alejandro Villanueva because of his protest of the protest yesterday. That's what they don't understand. That's what they don't understand.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I sing your praises all the time because I was very run down. I was getting bronchitis all the time. And ever since I started taking this, at the first sign of a sniffle, by the next day, it's gone.
Love it. Great product. Yeah, I should have taken it years ago. It works. You know, your skin is better, your blood pressure is down, and stuff like that.
What are you waiting for? Good health is just a phone call away. Don't miss your opportunity to get a free month supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Call 1-800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code Chicago. That's promo code Chicago.
Gentlemen, when it comes to your health, do you know your numbers? You may know your blood pressure and cholesterol, but do you know your testosterone and prostate numbers? I know my numbers. Low T Center made it easy. You walk in, take a simple blood test, and with the convenience of their on-site lab, I was able to get my results in minutes. And in honor of Prostate Health Month, Low T Center is offering a $50 testosterone and prostate level test in September. So, gentlemen, if you don't know your numbers, haven't met your deductible, or don't have insurance, you should take advantage of this limited time offer. I know at Low T Center, they'll take great care of you. Plus, it's quick, easy, and you'll get your results in about 20 minutes. So do yourself a favor and call 312-239-3427. Tell them Dan Prof sent you. That's 312-239-3427. Call now or go to lowtcenter.com.
Earnings vary based on your effort. Message and data rates may apply. Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses right here in Chicago? If so, we have an amazing opportunity for you. We're looking for a small group of motivated individuals to join our real estate investing team. You'll learn our simple 3-step system for flipping homes right here in the local area. This is Than Merrill, star of A&E's hit TV show Flip This House. My team and I are looking for a handful of people in the Chicago area who want to learn how to make money flipping houses in your spare time using other people's money. Chicago is a perfect market for my system, and this week I'm holding a free 2-hour educational workshop where you will learn how to make money flipping homes and how to build long-term wealth with income properties.
To get 2 free tickets to Than's workshop, text MONEY to 99,000. Seating is extremely limited. Text MONEY to 99,000 right now because this free ticket offer expires this Friday. Text MONEY to 99,000. That's money to 99,000.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I started out vomiting with migraines at the age of 19, and about 10 years later, it got to the point where it was almost every day. This stuck with me for about another 20 years. When I was introduced to this Balance of Nature, I couldn't believe how quickly the triggers that would cause these migraines just went away.
What are you waiting for? Good health is just a phone call away. Don't miss your opportunity to get a free month supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Call 1-800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code Chicago. That's balanceofnature.com. Promo code Chicago.
Are you stuck in a bad home mortgage? Well, join the club that has about 10 million other American families. But I may be able to help you. My name is Lou Bridges. I'm an attorney with the law firm of Lou Bridges & Associates. We've been helping distressed homeowners like you for over 8 years now. Give us a call. We provide free consultations. I guarantee you it will not be a sales pitch. We will give you our honest legal analysis, counsel, recommendations, and advice regarding your options.
We are experts in doing loan modifications successfully. We know the regs. We understand the process. Most importantly, we don't take no for an answer. We fight. We are prepared, and we win. We save houses. We make houses affordable. So if you want to keep your house affordable, contact us.
Go to bridgeslaw.net or call 224-513-1231. That's 224-513-1231.
Remember, people, never give up the land. Fight for truth and justice. You do that, I guarantee you'll never be alone in this country.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll talk to famed Harvard Law professor Alan Dershowitz about the anti-Semitism of leftist heroine Valerie Plame and matters on college campuses at 8:08.
And later, taking your calls, it's National One Hit Wonder Day. What's your favorite song? But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, Chicago setting a record high for temperatures for a fifth day in a row. Man charged with killing his ex-girlfriend and 4-year-old son in Stone Park. Fire breaks out at a Geneva ice arena. Governor Rauner vetoes a cursive mandate. We'll tell you why. Bears stunned the Steelers in OT. Quintana and the Cubs blanked the Brewers. Well, it was a win for the White Sox over the Kansas City Royals. Sunshine and more high temps later on today. WIND Chicago News Time is 8 o'clock.
For the Ramparts, we watched players gallantly kneeling. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
Kneeling for the national anthem. It's not against the president. It's against all the veterans that served our country from way back when.
This Jets fan does not support the NFL protest, expanded when President Trump called those players SOBs. This Patriots fan says,
I think it's their right to protest, because it's First Amendment right to free speech, free press.
Some teams stood arm in arm, others stayed in the locker room. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
A day after more than 200 NFL players took a knee during the national anthem, the president tweeting the issue of kneeling has nothing to do with race. It's about respect for our country, flag, and national anthem. NFL must respect this. The president telling reporters he's not backing down.
When you get on your knee and you don't respect the American flag or the anthem, that's not being treated with respect.
The president also praising on Twitter comments by several NASCAR team owners who said they would fire employees who protested during the anthem. Dave?
John, the president's issued a new travel ban to replace the much challenged earlier one that's just expired, restricting travel here from Chad, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Syria, and Yemen. 2 non-Muslim countries also made the list.
The ACLU's Anthony Romero saying in a statement, the fact that Trump has added North Korea with few visitors to the U.S. and a few government officials from Venezuela doesn't obfuscate the real fact that the administration's order is still a Muslim ban.
Fox's Griff Jenkins. The Sudanese nationals jailed in Tennessee accused of killing a woman outside a church, then going in, wounding 6 others. The pastor yelled for everyone to run. A church usher tackled Emmanuel Sampson, who was shot with his own gun. Then Robert Engel got his gun and held Sampson at bay. Senate Republicans are adding $14 billion to their Obamacare replacement bill, trying to get skeptical colleagues on board this week. 2 oppose it already. 1 more no would kill the plan. This is Fox News. fair and balanced.
70 degrees in Chicago. We have mostly sunny skies this morning, and we were headed for a record-breaking high near 91 degrees. And there is an air quality alert in effect for Chicagoland today. The National Weather Service says an air pollution action day has been declared for Cook, McHenry, Lake, Kane, DuPage, Kendall, and Will counties. A Melrose Park man accused of killing his ex-girlfriend and 4-year-old son last week in Stone Park is due in bond court today. Daniel Barraza is charged with the murder of Marion Hurtado and Corbin Barraza. The victims were found dead Thursday night. No one hurt following a fire at an ice arena in Geneva. Blaze broke out yesterday inside the refrigeration compressor room at the Fox Valley Ice Arena. It took about an hour to bring that fire under control. Trial begins later today in Chicago against former Illinois Congressman Mel Reynolds. The disgraced, twice convicted felon was indicted in 2015 on misdemeanor charges, accusing him of failing to file federal income tax returns. Since his indictment, Reynolds has been jailed for violating bond and reprimanded for tweeting comments about witnesses in the case. Barbara Blaine, the founder and former president of the Survivors Network of Those Abused by Priests, has died. The organization known as SNAP says Blaine died after a recent cardiac event. She was 61. Scratch one name off the list of potential Democratic Attorney General candidates. Soon-to-be retired State Rep Elaine Neckritz yesterday saying she would not be running in a statement to the Daily Herald. Bears stunned the Steelers 23-17 at Soldier Field. Cubs blanked the Brewers 5-0. White Sox 8-1 winners over the Royals. The news service of NBC and The Brave. America's favorite singing competition, Emmy winner The Voice, is back with superstar coaches Adam Blake, Miley, plus new coach, Grammy and Academy Award winner Jennifer Hudson. The Voice blind auditions start tonight, followed by the premiere of the NBC show The Brave on NBC. 8:04 time for the AM 560 Business Beat from the Fox Business Network and a service of Turnkey.pro. Here's Ginny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, General Electric's Industrial Solutions business is being sold to ABB, the industrial giant based in Switzerland. It's a sign GE is continuing to downsize the company. ABB is paying $2.6 billion for GE's unit. Home builder D.R. Horton says its business is being impacted by Hurricanes Harvey and Irma. The storms caused construction delays, though D.R. Horton says it doesn't expect the hurricanes to affect its overall earnings for this year. Uber Technologies now wants to negotiate with London regulators so it can continue to operate there. Uber's license has been canceled in London effective the end of the month. It will be allowed to operate as usual during the appeal. The Dow was down 9 on Friday, NASDAQ up 4, S&P gained a point. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
8:05 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Larry Elder doesn't see an answer from experts for climate change.
Do I believe that climate change is real? Yes, because the climate is always changing, which is why they've gone from saying global warming to climate change, because with that it's heads I win, tails you lose.
There is no consensus about the degree to which man has participated in this?
There certainly is no consensus about what to do about it, whether or not we ought to spend all this money to transfer from a fossil-based fuel to a so-called renewable-based energy.
The Larry Elder Show, weeknights at 7, right before Jay Sekulow at 9 on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans. If you're in the market to buy a home right now, you know how challenging it is out there. You're competing against cash buyers, so it's critical that you work with a reputable, established mortgage company like Quicken Loans. By getting pre-approved with us, sellers will know that you're serious and ready to close when you make that offer. Here's one more way to get the home you want. You could buy a $150,000 home with as little as $1,500 down with our 1% down payment option. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 4.125%, APR 4.52%. For 7 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation for customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. And for the 4th year in a row, they've also ranked us highest in the nation for mortgage servicing. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to QuickenLoans.com. That's 800-QUICKEN.
For J.D. Power award information, visit jdpower.com. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Number 3030.
8:07 and a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The inbound Kennedy is jammed. Harlem to the Burn Circle. It is an hour and 22 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 50 minutes from Montrose, 28 in the Express. Outbound 50 to the airport. Eden's 23 minutes. Lake Cook to the Kennedy. Outbound 38 minutes. The Eisenhower's an hour and 17 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. An hour and 3 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 37 minutes to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 3 minutes. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 44 minutes. Ryan, 35 minutes. 95th to downtown. I-57, 40 minutes. I-80 to the Merge. Bishop 428. Southbound Lakeshore Drive, still Bryn Mawr to North Avenue. Northbound 18th Drive to Jackson. Southbound Tri-State jammed. Washington to 176. Northbound from Southwest Highway to 31st. Reagan Tollway to North Avenue and Balmoral to Gulf Road. But Adams Tollway delays. Bartlett Road to 53 and Toohey to the Tri-State. Reagan Tollway heavy 31 to Viola. Veterans Memorial 555 most to the way to Roosevelt. The Army Trail toll to 290. Northwest Indiana now looks good. Traffic answers when you need them most. Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast with our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Today, mostly sunny and hot. High 90. Tonight, partly cloudy and warm. Low 68. Tomorrow, partly sunny and very warm with a high 90. Mostly cloudy at night with a shower in a few spots. Low 61. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560. The Answer.
72 at O'Hare, 74 along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update is at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Secure Retirement Radio with host Raj Shah. Sunday mornings at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Well, this is a story that we picked up but didn't have a lot of time to develop last week on Friday, I think. Valerie Plame Wilson, the leftist heroine who was outed by CIA agent, who was outed by Richard Armitage, and then ultimately the basis of a prosecution against Scooter Libby by her own Patrick Fitzgerald when he was U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Illinois. A political persecution, I think would be more accurate to describe. But nonetheless, Valerie Plame, it turns out, I know she's been out of mind for a number of years now, but it turns out she's sort of a virulent anti-Semite. This according to her tweeting. She tweeted out last week a op-ed entitled "America's Jews Are Driving America's Wars," which contained all kinds of, frankly, anti-Semitic contentions. And then she sort of apologized for it, saying, I zeroed in on the neocon criticism and shared it without seeing and considering the rest, and so it was just a mistake, and she apologized. Except people did what they're wont to do and started digging back into previous tweets. I'll give you an example. This from a couple of years earlier, May of 2015. Valerie Plame posted a news item about Natalie Portman, who was it was announced that she was going to play Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg in an upcoming movie. Valerie Plame's tweets on that news. Well, they're both Jewish.
Okay.
Kind of odd.
Maybe early stages of dementia?
No. I think I think she's of sound mind and body. I think she's just kind of a creepy bigot, which you see a lot on the left these days. For more on this topic, and he has opined on this matter, we're joined now by our friend and famed Harvard Law professor, Alan Dershowitz. Professor Dershowitz, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much. I mean, this really does represent what I've been writing about for a long time. The bigotry of both the extreme left and the extreme right. We all know about the extreme right, the neo-Nazis and the Klan, and that's yesterday's news, hopefully. But the bigotry of the extreme left the tolerance for anti-Semitism by the extreme left is a story that ought to be covered more aggressively. And I think Valerie Plame is part of that. But the article that she tweeted also said that anytime somebody like me or Bill Kristol appears on television, if we're Jewish and we support Israel, there ought to be a banner on the bottom saying, this is a Jew.
Yeah, right.
And accepting his views, even in small amounts, is like ingesting rat poison. That's what it says in the article, that listening to a Jew is like ingesting rat poison. And then, of course, the article says the Jews control the media, control all the politicians, control the entertainment industry, and basically destroy America by pushing it toward war. Of course, you know, if you look at any group of people, it contains, obviously, some who support a more hawkish policy and some who support a less hawkish policy. And generalizing about Jews supporting this or that, is so bigoted. And Valerie Plame had to know that when she retweeted it. In fact, after she tried to apologize, she said, well, it's a thoughtful article. A thoughtful article saying that I have to get on television and wear essentially a yellow star? I mean, I'm proud of my Jewish heritage, but I don't want anybody else to put something on the bottom of my name saying, he's a Jew, watch out, it's like rat poison. I mean, that kind of stuff you would think is no longer acceptable, but it is acceptable on the hard left, and it is acceptable among some on the hard right. And that's why we have to fight bigotry on either extreme. And what I worry about is the center-left tolerates anti-Semitism on the hard left, and some people on the center-right tolerate it on the hard right. Well, I have to tell you, there's less toleration on the right these days among conservatives than there is on the left these days among radicals. So I'm concerned about that.
Well, what do you think?
Remember, it's the hard left that dominates our universities today. And those are our future leaders.
Well, what do you think's going on with her? Why is she doing this?
Well, I think she doesn't like Jews.
Okay. No,
like
Occam's razor.
You can say it. I mean,
she's harbored these views for a long time. She knows they're unacceptable. And every so often, it gets the best of her, and she retweets something. You know, the thing about tweets, we know it from our president, they're impulsive. The tweet is something you do without really thinking it through. You know, my wife doesn't allow me to tweet. She requires that all of my tweets go through two levels. First, I have to send her a copy, and then I have to send a copy to my secretary, my assistant. And if they approve it, then it goes out. She's terrified.
Really?
I will tweet something that, you know, I regret later. So, you know, the tweet, you know, there's an old Latin expression, in vino veritas, when you drink a little wine, the truth come out. I would change that to intuito veritas.
Yes, very good.
Tweet, the truth comes out.
Well, let me ask you this, though. Is it particularly noxious and concerning from Valerie Plame because she was a former CIA agent? I mean, the idea that these are views that are held by any intelligence officer in the U.S. government is concerning.
It is, and I think the guy who she tweeted also had an intelligence background. And so, look, within intelligence agencies, within any agencies, you're going to get people who have strong points of view on these issues. The interesting thing, of course, is that intelligence agencies in the United States have generally been very pro-Israel because Israel has been a major source of intelligence breakthroughs. The UN recently disclosed that Israeli intelligence has prevented a lot of terrorist attacks all over the world. And so intelligence officers generally are more supportive of Israel than the general run of people, say, in the State Department. But obviously Valerie Plame is an exception to that. And I think her true feelings have come out in these tweets and how she handled it after she was caught. I hadn't heard about the Natalie Portman issue. Natalie was my former student.
Really?
Yeah, right.
She was a sensational student. When I had her as a student, I didn't know she was an actor because she had a different name. Her name was Natalie Hirschlag. She used her family name or her mother's name. She didn't want anybody at Harvard to know that she was Princess Leia. And she's a terrific woman. And but, you know, the fact that she's Jewish and Ginsburg is Jewish, who would think of that?
Right.
Unless somebody who was obsessed with the Jewish control of the media or that kind of thing.
Well, why do you think that this doesn't get coverage? Why is this not?
Media,
why? Well, yeah. Why is the profile not raised on this?
The media tilts left. and the left protects itself. And, you know, it's so easy to point the finger at neo-Nazis, to point the finger at the Klan. They're such obvious, easy targets. Nobody from the Klan or from the Nazi Party would ever be welcomed at a college or a university. But today, people on the extreme left will be. Valerie Plame will be welcomed as a speaker now on college campuses. On the other hand, I'm speaking Wednesday night at Columbia University, and there'll be protests because I support a two-state solution where Israel exists and the Palestinian state exists, and that's regarded as much too conservative for many at Columbia. So there will be protests about my speaking at Columbia, and I'm going to try to have an intelligent, rational conversation about the Middle East. And the last thing that many hard leftists on college campuses want today is a rational conversation about the Middle East, or a rational conversation
in
about
general.
President Trump, or a rational
in general.
Well, when you go into situations like that, do you have to have security?
I do. I need security all the time. Whenever I speak about Israel on any university campus, both in the United States and Canada and Europe, I need substantial security. There will be security, and I'm protected. I'm not worried about physical violence, but there may be attempts, as it has been in the past in Columbia, not to allow me to speak, to shout every time I get up to speak, every time I try to utter a word, to try to shout me down. That's what happened recently at many, many colleges, and twice there were efforts, once at the University of California at Irvine and once at the University of Massachusetts in Boston, efforts to try to not allow me to continue my speech because they didn't like what I had to say, and there's an intolerance on many university campuses for views that are unpopular among some students. And my views are, centrist views right down the middle. I'm a liberal Democrat. I voted Hillary Clinton. I support a two-state solution, but I'm not radical enough for some hard leftists, so my views are unacceptable on some college campuses.
Give us your take on what the implications of the BDS movement is, particularly on college campuses, but it's not limited there. We have a Chicago City Council member here who almost was a candidate for lieutenant governor, who's an outspoken advocate for BDS. I mean, I would say he's more than just an outspoken advocate for BDS. They try and make this was just anti-Israel, but not anti-Semitism. Your take on it?
BDS is virulently anti-Semitic. It started out as the Nazi boycott of Jewish goods in the 1930s. It was then picked up in 1948 by the Arab League. It applies to Jews like me. For example, when I was invited to debate at Oxford, the head of the BDS movement said he wouldn't debate me because I'm a Jewish supporter of Israel, even though I'm not an Israeli. The BDS movement is anti-peace. It's not designed to end the occupation. It's designed to end Israel. And I'm glad there's legislation now pending all over the country trying to prevent economic boycotts or economic sanctions directed against Israel. Remember, the same people who support BDS want to end sanctions on Cuba, end sanctions on North Korea, end sanctions on Iran. The only country they want to sanction in the world, the only country, is the nation state of the Jewish people. And there has to be something suspicious about that when you have a world full of human rights violations and only one country in the whole Middle East that's democracy, that supports gay rights, and you're going to focus on that country to sanction and boycott. There's something bigoted about that.
Yeah, I sense you're right about that. He is Alan Dershowitz, famed Harvard Law professor. The piece on Valerie Plame knew exactly what she was tweeting at foxnews.com. Professor Dershowitz, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Is it time for your one-hit wonder day? You don't know what One Tin Soldier is? I can't believe Dan doesn't know. I'm so old. One tin soldier rides away. No? It's not it's 70s. You got to turn on your microphone, but he says 70s are a lost decade. I disagree with him. Plenty of sunshine today, heat and humidity. Record-setting heat again today, tomorrow, and then Wednesday we will get a break, thank goodness. Maybe the ankles won't be so swollen. A high of 74 degrees. Now let's get into the Alarm Detection System Traffic Center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy and Dan. Good morning. South Chicago, Baltimore Avenue is blocked off between 91st and 92nd. Got a transformer pulled down their wires over two vehicles. Edens is 23 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, out on 38th. Kennedy, really sticky. An hour and 22 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 50 minutes from Montrose. It's 28 in the Express. Outbound 50 minutes to the airport. The Eisenhower, an hour and 17 minutes. Thorndale to downtown, outbound 37 minutes. Stevenson, an hour and 3 minutes. 3:55 to the drive, outbound 44 minutes. Ryan is 35 minutes, 95th to the loop. Southbound Lakeshore Drive, delay start at Bryn Mawr, 35 minutes to Hollywood to Monroe. Southbound Tri-State, very heavy, Washington to 176. Northbound Harlem, most of the way to 31st. Reagan Tollway to North Avenue, and really heavy delays, Balmoral to Gulf Road. There was some debris there. It's now gone. The Adams Tollway slow. Bartlett, 53, and 280 to the Tri-State. I'm Jim Talamonte, the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
From PureFlix Entertainment.
Eric has suffered a traumatic brain injury.
3 families brought together by a crisis of faith.
I'm remanding you to the Juvenile Detention Center.
Now their faith is all they have left.
The only thing me and Teresa have been doing is trusting in the Lord, and look where it's gotten us.
Divided by loss, united by faith.
All of the answers can be found right there.
A Question of Faith, rated PG, in theaters Friday. For tickets and more information, visit aquestionoffaith.com.
What if you could enjoy total peace of mind when it comes to home security? What if the best technology came from a local company who puts the customer's needs first? Alarm Detection Systems is the right choice for an alarm system with complete control from your phone or tablet. Know when your children arrive home from school. View live streaming video. Check up on your pets. Receive alerts for extreme temperatures. Know if leaks or floods have been detected. Get real-time text alerts sent to your phone. Family-owned and operated since 1968, Alarm Detection Systems understands that nothing is more important than the safety of your family. Your security system will be monitored by our central station in Aurora, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Alarm Detection Systems is an authorized Honeywell equipment dealer. Our on-site security consultation is always free. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6322. That's 630-844-6322. Alarm license number 127000143.
Earnings vary based on your effort. Message and data rates may apply.
Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses right here in Chicago? If so, we have an amazing opportunity for you. We're looking for a small group of motivated individuals to join our real estate investing team. You'll learn our simple 3-step system for flipping homes right here in the local area. This is Than Merrill, star of A&E's hit TV show Flip This House. My team and I are looking for a handful of people in the Chicago area who want to learn how to make money flipping houses in your spare time using other people's money. Chicago is a perfect market for my system, and this week I'm holding a free 2-hour educational workshop where you will learn how to make money flipping homes and how to build long-term wealth with income properties.
To get 2 free tickets to Than's workshop, text MONEY to 99,000. Seating is extremely limited. Text MONEY to 99,000 right now because this free ticket offer expires this Friday. Text MONEY to 99,000. That's money to 99,000.
Depression. You need to make it go away. Cure or remission is here. The revolutionary treatment of TMS.
800-604-0208.
TMS therapy is drug-free and non-invasive. Here's how it works. There are areas of the brain that control mood. If you suffer from depression, research has found these areas to be underactive. TMS therapy uses safe, small magnetic fields, similar to those used in an MRI. They stimulate and activate these mood centers, causing long-term, medication-free relief. HBR centers in Chicagoland and Wisconsin offer TMS. End the frustration with life and relationships.
It's FDA cleared and it is covered by most insurance, including Blue Cross, Blue Shield, and Medicare.
Dangerous drugs and other treatments just mask the depression. Cure or remission. Get a free consultation.
800-604-0208.
HBR centers. Go to endmydepression.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
They really have made a difference. I mean, when I started taking them, I could not tie my shoes because of the knee pain. I have arthritis in it. And I actually bent down and tied my shoes by mistake. I was so used to not being able to do it. I couldn't believe I did it. And that was shortly after starting the Balanced Nature.
What are you waiting for? Good health is just a phone call away. Don't miss your opportunity to get a free month supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Call 1-800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code Chicago. That's balanceofnature.com. Promo code Chicago.
AM 560, The Answer.
Focus on the Family, who brought you Irreplaceable and The Dropbox, is proud to present their most powerful film yet, Mully. And it's a story that fits perfectly with Focus on the Family's mission. It's a true story of Charles Mully, whose unlikely rise to wealth and power left him questioning his own existence and searching for meaning in life. Dan, I watched this film last night, and it's really inspiring. This man went from being an orphan to becoming a millionaire, and he sold everything he owned. He had this discussion with he had 8 children, and said, guys, I'm selling everything and helping the homeless, because he was a street kid too. And that's what he did. He helped abused children, orphan children, kids that were living on the street, and helped 12,000 homeless kids. And it's really a remarkable story. And I always help them get out of poverty through education. Some of the kids he helped are now doctors and lawyers and business leaders. It's just a fascinating film. And for 3 nights only, it will be in theaters near you, October 3rd, October 4th, and October 5th. Buy your tickets now at mullymovie.com. That's MULLY movie.com. And Charles Mully will be on this program on Thursday, so you're not going to want to miss it. And it's going to be in Chicago, too, right near you.
Look forward to seeing it. Well,
Yep.
hopefully you'll send me the link so I can see it. I mean, as big media people, we get to see these things
Yes,
privately. We don't have
privately.
to,
Oh
hoof
my
out to a theater and watch it with the unwashed masses. So I want to take advantage of that that privilege that we enjoy. This was interesting. You know who has more respect for the American flag and Francis Scott Key and his national anthem than 23% of NFL players, apparently, who protested yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
A Jamaican national named Usain Bolt, the fastest man in the world. We'll have that. And get your reactions to this. Should sports be a demilitarized zone from politics? Or is the intersection not only necessary, but not only unpreventable, but also necessary? We'll talk about that at 8:38.
But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. An air quality alert is in effect for Chicago today. The National Weather Service says it is an air pollution action day for Cook, McHenry, Lake, Kane, DuPage, Kendall, and Will counties. Record-breaking hot weather will continue for at least one more day. Yesterday, shattering the record of 91 by hitting 93 on the Mercury. That was set back in 1891. With President Trump's travel ban expiring, the White House says it's planning new restrictions that would apply indefinitely to citizens of Chad, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Syria, Yemen, and North Korea. The U.S. also plans to bar the entry of certain Venezuelan government officials and their immediate families. Republicans adding $14.5 billion to the latest health insurance reform bill, an attempt at repealing and replacing Obamacare, including more money for states of dissenting GOP senators. This week's vote is seen as the Republicans' last chance to pass a bill this year before some protections expire against a Democratic filibuster. U.S. Senator John McCain says doctors are giving him a very poor prognosis. As he battles brain cancer, McCain underwent surgery in July for a tumor that was later found to be a form of glioblastoma, the same type of cancer that took the life of his former Senate colleague Edward Kennedy in 2009. Hurricane Maria will not come onshore in the U.S., bringing rain, wind, and some storm surge to coastal areas on the East Coast. High surf advisories are posted from Florida to the Carolinas. A Melrose Park man accused of killing his ex-girlfriend and 4-year-old son last week in Stone Park is due in bond court today. Daniel Barraza is charged with murder of Marion Hurtado and Corbin Barraza. Trial begins here in Chicago today against former Illinois Congressman Mel Reynolds. The twice-convicted felon was indicted in 2015 on misdemeanor charges, accusing him of failing to file federal income tax returns between 2009 and 2012. Well, they almost left the area a few years ago, but apparently they're coming back. Krispy Kreme Donuts will be flipping the switch on its hot light in Evergreen Park with an official grand opening of October 10. Yes, there will be a highly anticipated grand opening, including having the honor of the Evergreen Park Community High School Mustang Marching Band showing up. Bears stunned the Steelers 23-17 at Soldier Field on Sunday. Cubs blanked the Brew Crew 5-0. White Sox 8-1 winners over the Royals, and Dwayne Wade's time as a Bull is apparently over. He and the organization agree to a buyout of the final season of his 2-year deal. The New is a service of The Brave on NBC. America's favorite singing competition, Emmy winner The Voice, is back with superstar coaches Adam Levine, Blake Shelton, Miley Cyrus, and a new coach, Grammy and Academy Award winner Jennifer Hudson. The Voice blind auditions begin tonight, followed by the premiere of The Brave on NBC. 8:32, we'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher gets a bad feeling about the North Korea situation.
My instincts generally serve me pretty well. I'm going to just tell you flat out, I have a very bad feeling about what Kim Jong-un is up to. And it's on him. But I have a bad feeling about this little chubby, weird dictator of North Korea.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, a family tradition since 1897.
Hey guys, Ken here from the hit podcast Today's Growth, now heard regularly in 18 countries. What percentage of you listening to this commercial often say to yourself, what could I do to make more money, or how can we increase our business? I'm guessing that's most of you. Have you ever heard knock on the door and it'll open? Well, my friends at Income Store have doors you can open that can help you or your family make more money, or doors that lead to an increase in revenue for any business of any size. Income Store has 2 main doors on their website. These doors lead to over 2,000 revenue-generating ideas and products. Although a few of their products are pricey, 90+% of their growth formulas are delivered free or nearly free. Income Store's growth products and ideas have been publicized and featured on Forbes, Inc., USA Today, and recently the Biography Channel. Could your household or business use a revenue shot in the backside? Are you sick of your checkbook talking back and saying no? If so, you need to knock on the doors of IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
It is 8:34. Let's get an update on your morning commute. We do that in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Eden's inbound delays start at Peterson. It's 28 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 40. Kennedy, inbound delays start at Harlem. An hour and 7 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 40 minutes from Montrose, 28 in the Express. Outbound 38 to O'Hare. The Eisenhower's an hour and 17 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. An hour and 3 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 37 minutes to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 3 minutes. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 44 minutes. Inbound Ryan is 35 minutes. 95th to downtown. Outbound clear. I-57, 37 minutes. I-80 to the merge. Bishop Ford 34. Southbound Lakeshore Drive. Heavy Bryn Mawr to North Avenue. Tri-State southbound. Bumper to bumper. Washington to 176. Northbound 95th to 31st. Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. And Balmoral to Gulf Road. There was some debris on the road. Adams Tollway heavy. Bartlett to Meacham and 2 to the Tri-State. Reagan Tollway slow. 3:55 to Myers. Veterans Memorial delays. I-55 most to the way to Roosevelt and from the Army Trail Toll to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Sunshine. Temperatures may break the record of 90 set back in 1933. Clear and warm again overnight, low 68. 90 tomorrow. A much cooler and pleasant day ahead on Wednesday, high 74. Currently 72 at O'Hare. Next news at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Choose M13 Graphics for all your business brochures, postcards, flyers, and more. Order online at m13.com or call 877-613-1913.
Let freedom ring this afternoon at 2 with Sean Hannity, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
Dan and Amy taking your calls 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Are you going to take President Trump's advice and boycott the NFL, or at least any NFL teams that tolerate players who disrespect the flag? Interesting, just kind of recalling and undermining some of the arguments being made by the left in defense of course, anything that would undermine respect for America and America's symbols. Usain Bolt, world's fastest man. A little recall here. This is from the London 2012 games. He's being interviewed by a Spanish reporter, and then this happens.
You came here to be a legend. You are already a legend.
Could we cut the interview? Is it live?
Yeah, okay. So, just Last Dance.
National anthem.
Sorry. Perdón, el himno nacional.
So Bolt asked if the interview is live, and then he pointed to the music playing, saying national anthem. Then he turned and showed respect for
our national
anthem.
Yeah.
He's a Jamaican national.
Well, the NFL players are taking this pretty. They're not taking it lightly. There's some tears that were shed in the locker room yesterday. Here's Michael Thomas. He plays for the Miami Dolphins.
As a man, as a father, as an African-American man, as somebody in the NFL, as one of those sons, I took it personally. I got a daughter. She going to have to live in this world. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to do whatever I got to do to make sure, she can look at her dad and be like, hey, you did something. You tried to make a change. You feel me?
Yeah, boy, these big tough guys are awfully sensitive. And by the way, the president, whether you agree with you calling them SOBs or not, which was probably unnecessary, but it gets to the gist of it, gets to the visceral reaction to the Colin Kaepernicks of the world, the Castro-loving, Che Guevara-sporting, police-hating Colin Kaepernick. So you can understand there's a visceral response. And so, boy, that brings Michael Thomas to tears, really.
It's so strange, the reaction. I did not see this coming. I mean, if you think about Colin Kaepernick was taking a knee when President Obama was in office.
Well,
so
that's
he's been doing this for a while.
So the arguments of the left are twofold. One is that Trump is a white supremacist. I mean, honestly, just full stop there. Does anyone truly believe that Trump is a white supremacist? You can have your disagreements with him. You can think that some of his remarks are intemperate, that sometimes incoherent, and I've thought both. You can disagree with him on policy, personal behavior. Do you actually think, as otherwise alleged serious people are writing in the New Yorker and the Atlantic and tweeting out all over the place and having in-depth panels on cable news about this, do you honestly think that he is a white supremacist? Can you really believe that? It is incredible to me how powerful the suggestion is and how powerful, frankly, the left's echo chamber is. That all you have to do is rinse and repeat, racist, white supremacist, white supremacist, white supremacist, and you have otherwise serious, rational people parroting it. It's incredible. Trump's a white supremacist, right? He always has been, and now it's just manifested itself. Well, he sure had Jesse Jackson Sr. fooled. This from an Operation Push Wall Street Project luncheon a couple of decades ago.
I do want to express thanks to you, Donald Trump, for being with us tonight. We need your building skills, your gusto, your rent package for people on Wall Street who represent diversity. And we thank you for coming tonight. Let's give Donald Trump a big hand. A big hand for Donald Trump.
Big hand for Donald Trump.
I don't know why that makes me laugh.
Well, so, I mean, okay, if he's a racist and a white supremacist, can you just please challenge people on the left? I certainly would love to. Of course, they won't talk to me.
They don't like me either. I get the stink eye at parties.
Please pinpoint.
Why?
Just tell us when it happened. Pinpoint when he became a white supremacist. Because, look, I'm skeptical of Donald Trump's, epiphanies on issues like the life issue. And we'll see what he does. So far, he's been pretty good, but we'll see. Because I haven't really heard the road to Damascus story that's convincing, okay? But there's just zero evidence of it other than his lack of facility with clearly expressing thoughts that you read into, because everything to the left is some kind of dog whistle or coded language if it's coming from somebody who identifies as a Republican. I get that. But, I mean, the charges of him being a white supremacist are so hysterical.
I know, but I had to fight it all weekend long talking to people about this because, they know that, oh, you're a Trump supporter. They're upset. This is what I just heard from them is that, oh, he was so slow to denounce the white supremacists in Charlottesville, but yet he called
they're just
NFL
repeating.
players SOBs.
This is the same thing. They're just repeating. They're just repeating something somebody said, just bouncing around in their heads. They're just the recipients of ricochets, rhetorical ricochets. Listen, Hillary Clinton did the same thing. Hillary Clinton sat down for an interview with NBC's Joy Reid. And listen, Trump is responsible for name-calling in America.
It's one thing for people individually to express those views, but for a candidate running for the United States to give permission to those views being put out into the public arena, in fact, to encourage it and carry it on, to make it a centerpiece of his convention, which should be a time of incredible excitement to have somebody nominated for president, and instead was dystopian and negative and very pointed against me.
I mean, it's just so fun. I'll tell you what, Hillary, you can plan the RNC in 2020. Would that make you feel better? You can script it for us. The idea, he's given permission for intemperate rhetoric and name-calling in politics. This just started in 2016 with Donald Trump. Of course, nothing came from the left. And, of course, the history of politics in America and in general, it doesn't include invective and name-calling and disingenuous arguments. How about everything on the left is if you disagree with me, you're suffering from a particular phobia or you are a particular ist. You have a particular ism. They don't make arguments. They brand people. I mean, he's a white supremacist, honestly. I think, number one, I think he's doing a service by breaking this open. I really do. Mm-hmm. Because the culture war is what's important. Ben Shapiro issued some statement over the weekend saying, Trump spouts off about nuclear war, nobody cares, but he spouts off about the national anthem and football and everybody cares. And he was being critical. Yeah. Well, Shapiro, you're wrong. Because the culture war is a more imminent threat to a free society than North Korean nukes. I hate to break it to you. Okay? I mean, Shapiro, he's such a smug. He's so overrated, honestly. The culture war is where it's at. That's everything. American culture is everything. And so you want to hash this out? Let's hash it out. Let's hash it out on every front. That's what should happen. And that, by the way, the intersection of sports and politics, yeah, as Bob Costas says, that's just part of the deal. Right. It's not going to be a DMZ. Okay, fine. So Congress, the antitrust exemption that the NFL enjoys, that sports leagues enjoy, the insulation from competition. I mean, they're essentially given government sanction to being a monopolist for the purpose of things like pooling TV and radio contracts. Gone. Why not? Why should they get any special deal that multi-billion-dollar corporations and other sectors don't get to be a monopolist, to be a legalized monopolist? Let's do this. Richard in DeKalb, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, Dan. I was thinking that, no, certainly not a racist at all, but I do believe that there's a segment of society on the left and the right that are detached. They're detached from other people's viewpoints, other people's experiences. And I think that it's totally insensitive to use the SOB terminology. And when you look at, I argue this all the time with my leftist liberal friends, not that they're totally equated, but seem to stay abreast, that gentrification, which if you look at all of these huge colleges, which are tremendously left, wipe out all of the places people can live and push them into further and further and further bad areas. So, I mean, the left is, you could say they're racist because they gentrify everything and just push the poor right out. Somebody that used to live in an apartment that was $600 a month now has to buy that same apartment for $3,200 a month because of gentrification, or the colleges purchase all this land and just move people out. You could say that's racist. But I believe that sometimes the academic and the rich don't understand what other people go through, and I think it's kind of insensitive what the president says from time to time. And I see that on both sides, the academic right, the academic left, the rich right and the rich left. And they think they speak for people like myself and the other people who have to live paycheck to paycheck. And it's just kind of irritating. We're going to be caught up in a culture, a physical cultural war. That's not of our doing. We want to get along out here in paycheck to paycheck world, but we're being pushed into almost a civil war that's going to be, or social war that's going to be coming to our neighborhoods and not the academic and the rich elites.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thanks for the call, Richard. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff there. Look, you're right, because your values, the values of the paycheck to paycheck world, as it pertains to elites who've discredited themselves by their performance in charge of the civic institutions that form the foundation of a free society, have failed. And they're blaming you on top of it and imposing more punishment on you on top of it. You think that's going to generate a reaction? It did in 2016, and it's not over. In fact, it's arguably just beginning. And that's why I like, the choice of language notwithstanding, the angle of incidence here. You think Trump's going to lose this battle over respecting the flag and the anthem, and by extension our nation, the symbolism that connotes? I don't think so. And yes, is it going to exacerbate tensions between people? Yep. Well, that's the price you pay when you have the left destroy those civic institutions by giving them a free field on which to run. K through 12 education, academia, media, corporate C-suites, the arts, and now sports. Who dominates? And who are the messengers that broadcast out from those elite purchases? Who dominates those? 95% of the DC press corps.
Right, but you love sports. Are you willing to turn off the NFL? I can't do it.
Well, the only thing keeping the NFL afloat, or at least afloat at a certain level, is gambling. Fantasy leagues and gambling, which is what fantasy leagues are. Yeah, exactly. No, but seriously. Good. I'm not an NFL fan the way I used to be. I'll tell you that. After yesterday,
I fell in love with the Bears yesterday.
After yesterday, I'm not a Steelers fan the way I used to be. Yep. And I'm sure there's a lot of former Steelers from the bygone eras of greatness that aren't too comfortable with how the Steelers performed yesterday. And I'm not talking about on the field.
Former players are probably rolling over in their graves.
But
people at the game yesterday, Steeler fans at the game, were genuinely shocked at first, and then they even booed their team.
You see what ESPN is? You see, again, the research that we've done at ChicagoCityWire.com, basically you've got 2.5 to 1 Chicago sports core that is Democrat to Republican in terms of their voting. It's one way to tell. You hear what sportscasters in this city are saying, providing the echo chamber for the virtue signaling know-nothing athletes. So So they're not responsible for part of the divide, for exacerbating these tensions and pitting people against one another who otherwise get along fine in everyday life? Of course they are. So the question isn't, is that going to happen? The question is, are you going to join the fight? Or are you just going to be rolled over? Frank in Palatine.
Good morning. The thing that gets me so much is that the NFL is the only sport where pure performance determines salary. You cannot do that anywhere else in America.
And sports, other sports you can.
Action, etc.
Yeah, that's right.
You know what I mean? Other sports.
Yes.
Sports in general, where a guy's true ability determines his income.
Absolutely.
That's not anywhere else. So why don't we make the NFL go with affirmative action? We'd have 14% blacks, a couple of percent Hispanics, and 2 white men.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Frank. Right, I mean, that's right. Same argument, the NBA, which is, 85% black, right? I mean, you want to do that? Oh. Of course you don't. The reason sports is so great and it's such a unifying institution is because it is a meritocracy, because you have the best in the world based on performance and ability, not based on political clout, for example, which permeates everything else, particularly in this city. Absolutely. Jason in Franklin Park.
Hey, guys.
Hi.
Hello.
Hey, Jason.
Hi. A couple things. I'll go digressing back real quick as far as, do people honestly believe Trump is a racist? Yeah, they really do. That's the sad part. Like, I know some of these pinhead liberals, and they honestly believe that he is a racist, sexist, homophobe, and is going to be the end of society. And then, second of all, when I talk to these people and they denounce white slave owners such as Washington and Jefferson, but idolize Che Guevara and Fidel Castro and mourn his death, and, these are not the people that you can have any kind of an intellectual argument. They are already lost.
They're ignorant. Absolutely. Thanks for the call, Jason. Of course they are. And that includes Colin Kaepernick, the civil rights leader of our time, to listen to these dingbats on sports radio talk about him. John in Lincolnwood.
Hi, Dan and Amy. Excuse me. I just wanted to call in. I had to chime in because I've been listening to you all morning. And you know what? This is it's so true. I had a friend at work. He's very liberal, very leftist. I'm a conservative, but he, we had this argument about Charlottesville, and he just went off and told me that, if you don't believe that Trump's a white supremacist, then you're a white supremacist. And I said, you can leave my office right now. And since then, we don't talk to each other. We don't see each other. I smile at him. He just ignores me. I'm like, it's unbelievable. It is just, and this whole NFL thing. You know what? My heroes are the Pittsburgh. What's that guy's name? Alejandro, whatever.
Villanueva, right?
Yep. Yeah, and Matt Light. I don't know if you saw the article. Matt Light put down all the Patriots. This is my favorite team. I don't even want to watch the NFL anymore. I deleted the ESPN app from my phone. If they're going to do this, they're really going to turn off a lot of people they don't even realize. But thank you guys, and you guys are great. And Amy, your friends with this argument and the whole argument about he's a white supremacist and what took him so long. I'm sorry. Hasn't this been going on since Obama?
Yeah.
This has been going on for a year and a half, and he finally said something about this. So their argument is total just BS.
Yep.
Thanks, guys.
And,
Thanks, John.
I was thinking about Alejandro Villanueva. Where are the other players supporting him? And the fine work that he did for 3 tours in Afghanistan. Why didn't somebody come out and put their hand on his shoulder?
Yeah, protesting the protesters did Villanueva. And then Jerry Jones, who's the owner of the most valuable franchise in the NFL, one of the most valuable franchises in sports, the Cowboys, of course. I do not think the place to express yourself in society is as we recognize the American flag. That's not the place to do anything other than honor the flag and everybody that's given up a little bit for it. Is he a racist? Not to. Is Jerry Jones a white supremacist? Leftist simpletons.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
After your choice of spouse, where you send your kids to school is the most important decision you make. That's why I'm excited to tell you about Northridge Preparatory School, an independent Catholic school for boys in grades 6 through 12. There's no brainwashing that's prevalent elsewhere. Northridge Prep instills the traditional values that you hold as parents. Northridge Prep is all boys with an all-male faculty. They celebrate your son's natural